We are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
And cliffhangers.
They would wait the next week. You're, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11 Live's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality.
Photos surfacing of a creek near the Beltline that turned bright green. Check this out. People wondering online what's up with this and if it's dangerous. Well, tonight we're getting you some answers.
Plus, the Marketplace rescue after a vehicle falls off a parking deck in Buckhead with somebody inside. How frightening is that?
11 Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Well, theirs is a job to uphold the law and to protect the public, and they make a guarantee, a promise, to maintain the public's trust. But a cheating scandal now calling into question the integrity of the entire class of the Georgia State Troopers, and it brings questions about all the tickets those troopers have been writing.
Yeah, this is a big story tonight. The state says there was no choice but to fire them all. It's one of our top stories right now on 11alive.com and on the 11 Alive Facebook page. And as Elwin Lopez reports, Georgia now has 30 fewer troopers.
When that person was disciplined for those activities, he then came forward and said, well, I'm not the only one who cheated. I'm not the only one who did this. And made the allegation that essentially everybody had cheated.
The investigation into the 106 GSP Trooper School led to today's dismissal of 30 of its members, all of whom DPS says admitted to cheating on an online speed detection operator exam, an exam which tests the cadets on their ability to use radar and judge speed.
I mean, it was something that you had to pay attention, but it wasn't rocket science. It wasn't engineering. But there are some principles in there, like the Doppler effect, of how radar works.
The troopers graduated last August, and now the 133 speeding tickets they issued will be put into question.
Part of what we will do will be notifying the court systems that those citations are written and the actions that we've taken against the officer that wrote them.
DPS says the loss of these troopers is a 7-month setback for the agency.
When you lose the amount of people like this, not to the normal thing, it puts a dent in the impact that you can have.
DPS says for now they'll no longer do online testing. They're also doing a complete audit of the training program to see if the cheating went beyond just this class of cadets.
And because of this story about cheating, we were curious to check the troopers' code of conduct that they swore to upheld. The troopers must recognize the badge as a symbol of public faith and public trust. They vow to never engage in acts of corruption or condone those acts by other officers. To get a full list of the troopers, their names dismissed for cheating, text the word trooper to 404-873-9114 for a link.
Well, we have a few showers out there this evening. Most of the activity has been south of I-20. But we do have just a few light showers here that have popped up in the past hour or so across northeast Georgia. So all the folks here in Ivy Log stretching down towards Helen, seeing a little bit of light rain with a bit of a wintry mix kind of intermingled here, but nothing expected to stick. It's just mixing in with the rain right now, the light rain. And we have rain going down 75 and over towards Eatonton at this hour and up I-20. But overall, this rain event, very, very light. It's mainly just gray and kind of drizzly. And another kind of overcast day to contend with today. So as we pull out further, you can see it's been much heavier here across South Georgia today with some heavy downpours right now, stretching from 75 over towards Savannah. So we're going to continue to see that as we head through the evening hours, and that area of low pressure that's over in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico continues to bring moisture in during the evening. So the next 12 hours, we'll have that chance for an isolated shower or two, no big deal, and then we'll start to clear it out during the overnight hours. So by the time we get to our morning commute, things should be dry and we should see some peaks of sunshine on our Thursday, excuse me. So mostly cloudy We'll see the temperatures get into the mid-50s on our Thursday. Friday, we're going to see the rain move in, but it's going to be late in the day. I think Friday will be mostly dry. And then as we head into our Saturday, about a 30% chance that we'll have some rain the first half of the weekend, but the second half of the weekend is looking a whole lot better. So I'll have more details on the timing of all this coming up in just a few minutes.
Sam, thank you. College Park police say the suspect who murdered a Delta employee inside a secure lot just for employees is now dead himself. And before taking his own life, police say he killed a second woman in Stockbridge. Joe Hinkie spoke with investigators today.
Today I talked with police from both College Park and Clayton County where these two murders took place. Police from both of those police departments believe a Rayshon Jones was the gunman in each one of these murders. The first one taking place on Sunday night. Police say around 10:30 they found the body of 30-year-old Alexis Reed in the secure parking lot at the Delta secure parking lot. She later died at the hospital. Police say Rayshon Jones was also a Delta employee. They believe he waited for Reed to finish her shift and then shot her in the parking lot. Then yesterday, while being investigated for another woman's murder in Clayton County, police say Jones shot and killed himself.
We spotted him inside a vehicle. Traffic stop was conducted to try to make contact with him regarding our investigation, and that is when he produced a firearm and took his own life.
And police believe the other murder in Clayton County happened sometime between Sunday night and Monday morning. Investigators say Jones shot a 33-year-old Tynesha Shelby at a hotel in Stockbridge, and they found her body when responding to a call around 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Police believe both of these murders were targeted shootings. The Jones knew both of the victims, but the victims, they believe, did not know each other. As far as the motive and details of the relationships that Jones had with each one of these women, those details, I'm told, are still under investigation by police. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Topping our speed feed, a scary situation for people at a Buckhead shopping center. And you know where this is, right across from Phipps Plaza at that Target area. There's a Publix in there as well. A woman drove her SUV over the edge of the deck. It then crashed into a wall, and it left the car suspended about 10 feet off the ground, as you can see. It's an amazing picture. There was that area there by Target from Phipps, as we mentioned, and Atlanta Fire pulled her out. Nobody was hurt in all of this. Lucky. But you can see that vehicle is mangled, and the barrier that lined the edge on the deck is dangling as well. They are not saying what led up to this crash, but it certainly is something that gives you pause for reflection as you go inside that parking deck. A man from Jackson County will be executed tonight after the parole board denied clemency. Donnie Lance was sentenced to death for killing his ex-wife and her boyfriend in the late 1990s. Dwight Wood was shot twice. Prosecutors say that Sabrina Lance was beaten to death. Donnie Lance's children had hoped to convince the State Pardons and Paroles Board to spare his life, saying they already had gone through so much losing their mother. But the execution, it is on, and it is going to happen tonight. Georgia Tech making arrangements to get two of its students out of China, where the U.S. has issued a level 3 travel warning over coronavirus concerns. The virus has killed more than 130 people, sickened thousands, more in China, with cases that are being reported in several other countries, including the United States. Georgia Tech says it's reaching out to the students to help them leave. The university also has canceled all spring 2020 programs to China. We'll have more on the efforts of this country to keep the virus from spreading here. That's still ahead in prime time.
A major shakeup in Georgia politics. Congressman Doug Collins announcing that he is running for Senate. That is targeting the seat held by newly appointed Senator Kelly Loeffler. And as you know, Governor Kemp appointed her to that seat to fill former Senator Johnny Isakson's role in D.C. And not only has Collins supported President Trump, he has also been the president's preferred pick for the job. And now the two will face off. Now, when asked whether a Republican fight could open the seat up for a Democrat, Collins says he's not worried.
Not concerned about that at all. I'm concerned about going to the people of Georgia. I've always run with 3 reasons in mind. That's Jordan, Copeland, and Cameron. Those are my 3 kids because they represent the kids and the ideas and the fashions of what we need to have in America. And we just need to have a process that lets people decide.
Collins went on to say the U.S. Senate is the best place for him to benefit Georgia, the country, and President Trump. Right now, he represents Georgia's 9th district in the northeastern part of the state. In response, Senator Kelly Loeffler's team issued this statement. It said Loeffler is a conservative outsider, not a career politician. She remains unapologetically supportive of President Trump and his policies, and she will always work for Georgia families. Collins and Loeffler will face off in November along with all of the other candidates who decide to run. If no one gets more than 50% of the vote, the top two will advance to a runoff. So to come for you tonight, can the coronavirus be found on your packages being delivered from China? That's the claim online, but we're going to verify that for you next.
And don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11 Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and you can join the conversation in the community section. We have more news on prime time right after the break.
Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on The Morning Rush on 11 Alive.
Televised newscast not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy and Associates.
More than 200 American evacuees from Wuhan, China are now back in the United States tonight. Each was screened for the deadly strain of coronavirus that has spread to several countries. All passed their screenings, but will stay at a military base in California for 3 days. Other countries have planned similar evacuations as China tries to contain this virus. That is brutal. That is so almost impossible to do.
It is. So far, more than 130 people have died, and we have seen 5 confirmed cases here in the United States, none here in Georgia. Today, the World Health Organization praised China for its efforts to fight the spread of the disease. The group will meet once again tomorrow to decide if this outbreak qualifies as a global emergency. Now, there are so many rumors going on about the coronavirus and how it spreads, so we're going to verify some of the biggest ones for you right now.
All right, here we go. First, this tweet sparked a scare alleging the coronavirus can be carried on packages being delivered from China. Here's what we know. When we went to the expert, the CDC, in a news conference this week, Dr. Nancy Messonnier, the director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, talked about this very idea. She said, quote, because of poor survivability of these coronaviruses on surfaces, there is likely very little risk of it being spread from products or packages that are shipped over a period of days and weeks. So the idea that the coronavirus can be spread through packages shipped from China, that's false, according to the CDC.
Next, are masks effective in staving off the coronavirus? We see a lot of people in Asia and airports wearing those masks. And again, we relied on the CDC to answer this one for you. The special respirator masks worn by healthcare workers called N95 respirators block out 95% of airborne particles, including coronavirus. The masks you can get in the stores, though, won't block out 95%, but they are somewhat effective in blocking the virus if that mask is fitted tightly, properly to your skin. The CDC says it is all about that fit. So are the masks effective against the spread of coronavirus? We have verified that that is correct.
So do you have something you want us to verify? Very easy to get your answer. You can send us your ideas on Facebook, Twitter, send an email to verify at 11alive.com, or you know, we read minds here too.
Just a little.
Send that message to the TV.
With something like this, there are a lot of common questions, and we know there are so many that you have. You're posting them on our 11 Live Facebook page. We will keep you up to date with all the latest information, including symptoms, the latest warnings from the CDC. That's all on 11alive.com and the 11 Alive News app.
Well, your 11 Alive storm trackers have been tracking a few light showers out there this afternoon and evening. Really nothing to write home about, but it is gloomy. It is kind of drizzly and cloudy out there, as it has been all day long. And we're kind of seeing this little area of moisture expand here across far north Georgia in through Fannin and Union and Towns County. And that's going to continue as we head through the evening. There's even a little wintry precip mixed in there at the highest elevation. So don't be surprised if you see a snowflake or two mixed in, or a snow pellet mixed in with some of the rain here in far northeast Georgia. Elsewhere, we have some light rain moving down 75 towards Macon. So if you're heading in that direction, you may notice that you'll need the windshield wipers for a short time. Other than that, most of the heavier rain is down to our south, where we're seeing some pretty good downpours right now in South Georgia and across Florida, where that area of low pressure is moving and will be bringing a lot of rain in pre-Super Bowl into the Miami area and across South Florida. So we'll certainly be watching for that. Looking out here across much of Noonan, you can see this is the historic courthouse there in Coweta County, and it is a nice, quiet night, and it was a pretty much a nice day all in terms of our storm trackers getting pictures of great sunrises and sunsets. This is Carol Simmons, who was in Gwinnett this morning, showing this beautiful sunrise. We had a few of those pictures coming in from our storm trackers, and then Nicolette again in Bowden, showing us this beautiful orange and pink sky tonight. Very artistic picture, Nicolette. Thank you for that one. We sure do appreciate you letting us see what's going on out there at sunset tonight. So we're looking at those temperatures here. We're 52 for our high today, 42 was our low. So those clouds kind of moderated our temperature. Our low was a little above average, and then our high was a little below because we really didn't get any sunshine really peeking through to warm us up today at all. We should be around 54 and 35 this time of year. And our records, by the way, back in 1975, we had a high of 77. Back in 1966, a low of 5 degrees. So boy, things could be a whole lot worse during the month of January. So right now, we're looking at those temperatures in the 40s across all of North Georgia. It's 41 in Clayton, we're 49 in Atlanta, 43 in Covington, and 45 in Thomaston. So overall, we're in the 40s, maybe the upper 40s in the metro right now. And then overnight, we'll start to clear it out. And by tomorrow, I think we'll see some sunshine mixed with some cloud cover during the day, and temperatures starting out in the 30s. So it's going to feel a little bit chilly to start, and then during the afternoon we should be warming it up a bit. So we have chances for showers south yet this evening. We'll have a dry Thursday to look forward to, although there'll be a few clouds around, but it'll be dry. And then rain returns Friday, but we think it's going to be late Friday into the first part of the weekend. So here's the timing of all of that. We have the clouds moving out overnight, but there is a northeasterly wind, and that'll tend to keep those low clouds trying to creep back in again. So it may look a little gray at times across North Georgia. And then as we head into our Friday morning, widespread cloud cover to start, and then that rain moving back, coming back from the south, kind of a similar pattern to what we had today, but that rain is going to advance further in to the Atlanta metro area as we head in through our Saturday morning. So overnight, Friday night into Saturday. So if you don't have the 11 Alive app, this is a great time to do it when we're not seeing any severe weather, but just aim your camera right here at this QR code. It'll help you download the app very, very easily, and you'll be prepared for whenever we do get some storms around here. In the meantime, though, just those showers around as we head into the beginning of the weekend. So it looks like Saturday we're going to be dodging a few of those before we dry it out on our Sunday. So it is looking like the second half of the weekend will be the best part of the weekend. So our Thursday, we'll see sunshine mixed with cloud cover, mid-50s. On our Friday, it looks like it'll be gray to start, and then we'll see that rain moving back in the afternoon and evening. 30% chance of rain on Saturday. Best day of the weekend will be on Sunday, and it looks like we're starting out February with a warming trend, getting into the low 60s on Monday, with rain returning late Tuesday into early Wednesday.
Sam, thank you. Cobb County gearing up for a unique event in which arrest records will be expunged and jobs will be offered to people who may have had trouble finding work in the past. 11 Alive's Jay Plyburn has the details.
We knew that there was a dynamic that was missing in Cobb, something that we had not touched upon. So Project Restore 360 works to make sure that we can bring a bunch of different facets together to make this community whole. The first part, it's the record restriction. Most people know that as expungements. We're going to be helping people leap into their new future by restricting parts of the record that shouldn't be there, maybe because they were arrested, nothing was ever done in terms of prosecution, or they successfully completed a conditional discharge, first offender, or diversion program. So we can restrict that, then seal the record so that there's no pop-ups from the clerk's offices.
In my view, to complete the 360 is to provide resources and avenues by which, if they're interested in owning a home or banking services, financial literacy, as well as health programs, all be there in one location in a very impressive facility, the Epicenter in Austell.
It's what I call a comprehensive approach. Obviously, it's one thing to get a job, but it's something else to have the support system behind you. So we're taking a whole new, different approach to how we want to get people back into, the mainstream with a job, with a place to live, where they can support themselves and their families, and also become this family in Cobb, where we all safely work, live, play, and pursue our dreams.
The record restriction portion is already full, but you can still attend the job fair. It's set for February 29th. There's also a similar event being planned for later this year in June. We have more information right now on myeastcobbnews.com.
Kobe Bryant's death has so many reflecting on their relationships with loved ones. One Atlanta star whose relationship with his daughters has oftentimes been in the national headlines, and he is reaching out to make a statement.
Where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy and Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food. And of course, you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers. I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, call me, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume it.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you...
Tonight, there are some developments in the investigation in what caused Kobe Bryant's helicopter to crash on Sunday, killing everyone on board in Southern California. The NTSB says the helicopter did not have a piece of safety equipment that could have helped the pilot navigate and avoid the hill that he slammed into. It's called a terrain avoidance warning system. The NTSB recommends it for all large helicopters, but they are not required to have it. The helicopter also didn't have a black box or a cockpit voice recorder, which could have given more insight into what happened moments before the crash. Flight data shows the helicopter dropped 350 feet in 6 seconds, then accelerated into the hill. Right now, the NTSB says it has not ruled out anything in its investigation.
Kobe Bryant's death has made a lot of people reflect on the relationships that they have with their loved ones, especially their daughters. And yesterday, Girl Dad was trending across the country after ESPN anchor Elle Duncan shared a conversation she had with Bryant where he spoke about how much he loved parenting 4 girls. And after all of that, an Atlanta star is reaching out on social media to show support for his daughters and to apologize. On Monday, T.I. shared photos on Instagram of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, who also died in that helicopter crash. He captioned them, "Love on your children and family." He followed that up with a heartfelt message to his own daughters where he asked them for forgiveness for his imperfections that caused misunderstandings. T.I.'s relationship with his daughters was in the spotlight as recently as November. The rapper got a lot of pushback after he said he asked the doctor to perform what's called a virginity check on his daughter when she was around 15 or 16 years old. It's a test that has been debunked by health professionals. After that interview, he said he was sorry to his daughter for talking about it so publicly, and now he's publicly sharing this apology. Oh, he wrote, "Life may throw us curveballs and deal us some pretty bad hands at times, but rest assured, you'll never find yourself in a place too high or too low for me not to be there to catch you when you fall." Now, this is still an ongoing conversation. Some people on his Instagram comments not really being forgiving of him. He is following up to the story that has continued to make headlines since he first made those comments initially. You can let us know what you think right now on the 11 Live Facebook page.
Someone lives nearby and you haven't seen them, reach out to them. Go to the house, knock on the door, because they need to hear from you more than ever. We might have lost something great, a legend, but remember the spirit is still with us always. And remember, you have your life. So I'm here to line you up. We got the vibes going.
Maybe a career in the ministry ahead for this Delta employee. Very impressive showing here, and it's gone viral. She reminded passengers flying to LA that life is too short and to reach out to loved ones, let them know you care. The message came hours after the death of Kobe Bryant. The video's been viewed more than 30,000 times. Air Ease says Delta needs to hire more people like this. Her contagious positivity made the flight a lot more enjoyable. Delta agrees. The company responded, "It's incredible what a few kind words can do," and the company is glad passengers were able to receive some positivity.
These photos have been making their way around social media. That bright green water, some think it looks like toxic sludge, something out of the comics. Well, we found out what's really behind that unnatural color.
The gray Georgia is getting on its ability to combat tobacco use. The result may surprise you. That's coming up.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and
cliffhangers.
they would wait the next week. You were, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11 Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions, and who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sport.
Well, the medical community continues to fight the U.S. vaping injury epidemic. As of last week, the CDC has confirmed more than 2,700 cases. 60 deaths have been confirmed in 27 states and Washington, D.C. as well. However, the agency does say it's looking into more deaths, and this is incredible. The statistics that we are seeing right now, the government's already imposed new vaping restrictions. But when it comes to overall tobacco use, a new report says Georgia is dropping the ball and doing so big time.
It certainly does. That report grades each state on its tobacco control policies, and Georgia received an F.
Now, this report was conducted by the American Lung Association. As you can see, Georgia earns failing grades. Man, this is a report card that you absolutely don't want to bring home to mom and dad. You know, there's one for a D, but I mean, what's the difference between an F and a D, as my father used to say? The report continues to say the adult tobacco use rate is 24.5%. That's a lot.
The organization says the need for Georgia to protect teens from tobacco is more urgent than ever. It's why state legislators are considering a bill that would impose new restrictions on the products. Senate Bill 298 was introduced by Gwinnett County Republican Renee Unterman. It would raise the minimum age to purchase vaping products in Georgia from 18 to 21. The bill would also increase penalties for selling products to minors and restrict packaging that appeals to young people. You can learn more about the bill. Make sure you head on over to 11alive.com. This article is posted as well in our 11 Alive app in the As Seen on TV section.
Well, we're looking at just a few showers out there this evening. Most of them are very, very light, but filling in a little bit here across far northeast Georgia in Fannin, Union, Towns County, moving towards Helen. We're seeing just a little bit of light rain right now. Some of this is actually showing up as winter precip, but temperatures are still a little bit above freezing. Just checked Brasstown Bald's temperature, and it's at 33 degrees right now, so a little warm for any snow to actually fall, but there may be a flake or two mixed in the highest elevations yet this evening. And we have some very light rain moving down 75 and moving east on 20. Other than that, most of the heavier rain is off to our south here, where some heavier downpours are east of 75, moving over towards the coast this hour. No thunderstorms, though. Any of those thunderstorms down here around Florida as this low moves to the east. So as far as tomorrow goes, I think it's going to be a mostly dry day. We'll start out with some low clouds and fog around, but then as we head through the day, I think that'll start to clear out pretty quickly. So we'll see a mostly dry Thursday. That puts a 9 on the wazometer on that scale of 1 to an 11, so not a bad day. And then it looks like the rain returns on Friday into the first part of the weekend. We'll have more on the details on that, on timing coming up.
The punishment will stand for a principal who was disciplined for not immediately reporting abuse allegations to police. A parent wanted the principal to face even harsher discipline after it reportedly took her 3 weeks to alert police that a special needs teacher had allegedly mistreated students. Caitlin Ross was there as the school board heard the parents' appeal, and other parents came out in her defense.
I know the character, the true character of Dr. Hildebrand, and I think that what is happening is a modern-day witch hunt against that woman.
Teresa D'Amelio says she never had a problem with Elm Street principal Dr. Christy Hildebrand, even when her children had a problem at school.
She took care of it swiftly, immediately, and she showed compassion and kindness and caring, and she handled the situation.
She showed up to support Dr. Hildebrand in the school board hearing about her suspension. Hildebrand was accused of not reporting suspected child abuse soon enough. The superintendent removed Dr. Hildebrand from the school for 5 days to retrain her on mandated reporting practices, and she served a 2-day unpaid suspension.
Laws are laws, and she needed to be reprimanded for the law that she did not follow. But I think what was handed down was sufficient, and I think that calling for her to be fired is extreme.
Jillian Wooten filed the appeal. Her son Aiden was in the classroom where the suspected abuse took place. She doesn't think 2 days is nearly long enough.
I understand people make mistakes. That's fine. Everyone should be allowed some form of grace and some form of a second chance. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was multiple occasions.
She was not given the chance to speak at the hearing and says she's removed her child from the school because Dr. Hildebrand is back in it.
I think a better fit would have been her to have been moved to a different school. Sure, second chance, but not with my child.
Noonan police say the criminal child abuse allegations are still under investigation, and the criminal investigation to Dr. Hildebrand's reporting is under investigation as well. The board upheld her 2-day suspension in today's hearing. Well, it may be difficult for children with special needs to voice abuse when it occurs in the classroom, but advocates say there are signs parents should watch for. Be sure to check for any changes in behavior or injuries that are unexplained. The child may develop a fear of going to school, too. And always watch to see if your child develops any changes to sleep or appetite or any drastic changes in his or her school performance.
Topping our speed feed tonight, an Atlanta man charged with sex trafficking after the sheriff's office says he paid a 16-year-old for sex. 43-year-old Ethan Stillman turned himself in last night at the Cherokee County Jail. Deputies say in December he picked up a 16-year-old from school, took her to a hotel and paid her for sex. Stillman is being held without bond. An Atlanta company is joining the fight against a deadly strain of coronavirus that has killed more than 100 people. Our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle say GeoVax Labs is signed up to help create a vaccine, along with a developer in Wuhan, China, which is believed to be the center of the outbreak. GeoVax has a history of working on these big public health concerns. They work to develop vaccines for Ebola, Zika, and malaria as well. If you are ahead of the curve this tax season, maybe you have already put yours in. Well, you might soon be, maybe not, but if you have, maybe you are asking, where's my refund? Well, the IRS is telling people to please be patient. According to the IRS, refunds typically take 21 days after that return is received. That's without the need for further review. Whether you file electronically or on paper, the fastest way to get a refund is through direct deposit. There are multiple ways to track your refund online.
Dogs with a Purpose, Pups with a Purpose. It's a program that brings shelter dogs into the Forsyth County Jail. It's a cool idea. It works in Gwinnett. It'll work in Forsyth. Organizers say these puppies could have done more than they ever could have imagined. My news reporter Brittany Klein-Peter has more for us tonight.
The jail has kind of given us the opportunity to, give them a new life, and it's given me, follow instructions, structure in my life. This guy is Romeo. He's a good guy. We've done a lot of training together.
I had no idea, honestly, what I was getting into when I was asked to do it. But the biggest change has probably been in the guys. It's giving them something to look forward to, to do every day.
Our goal is just to get the dogs adopted out, but not just adopted out, but to give them thorough obedience training so the next family has it very easy and they don't want to give the dog back.
A lot of times we see the dogs come into the shelter very unruly, not trained, lived outside most of their lives, and then they come here, they get trained, and by the time they get adopted, they're like perfect little gentlemen or little ladies.
We want the inmates to be able to get a new set of life skills. The purpose is for the dogs to give them a greater purpose, and for the inmates to give them a greater purpose, in hopes that they won't come back in here.
Forsyth County officials say this, that what makes this program unique is that they also train therapy animals, and they provide post-training for the dogs once they are adopted. To learn more about this program, you can head to My Coming News section on 11alive.com.
Super Bowl Sunday just days away. The 49ers, the Chiefs, in what should be an epic showdown. We say that every year, don't we? Well, unlike most Super Bowls, the venues in South Florida are pretty spread out, meaning police and military are on high alert for any threats in the ground, in the air, and at sea.
Well, the Chiefs and 49ers aren't the only ones with a lot on the line on Super Bowl Sunday. Advertisers, oh yeah, the Super Bowl without television advertising would be like a Super Bowl without Tom Brady in it.
Okay. things now to Mark Barger, who is reporting on what's in store for us all on Sunday.
It's the game before the game. Walmart unveiling its first ever Super Bowl ad days before Sunday's kickoff.
It really just allows you to get more mileage out of, such a big moment for the brand.
Advertisers spend $5.6 million just to air a 30-second Super Bowl commercial. Wicked smart. Even more is spent making it.
Every year we learn something new and we take that into the process.
Lessons that led to Lil Nas X and Sam Elliott touting Cool Ranch Doritos.
You can't touch this.
And MC Hammer introducing Cheetos popcorn.
There will not be a commercial break without some face that you recognize.
Star power that includes Bryan Cranston in a lighter version of a horror classic.
Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
I am thirsty.
We're trying to get a fast start to this fantastic product.
But some companies keep ads secret right up till game day.
Look, it's the Bud Light.
Last year's Bud Light Game of Thrones crossover, a prime example.
You need to know that it's going to be an ad that will get people talking and that you'll get that social buzz after the fact.
Leader. That's what Michael Bloomberg's counting on with his Super Bowl campaign ad. So is the man he's trying to replace, President Trump.
This could either be an opportunity to win voters or also to alienate voters if you don't have the right message.
And on Super Bowl Sunday,
yes, Mr. President,
there is no shortage of messages.
11 Alive has an entire page dedicated to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 54. For all the updates regarding the big game, be sure to visit 11alive.com/Super Bowl.
A lot of folks talking about this one, posting pictures of this bright green creek water all over social media, wondering if it's dangerous or not. Well, we are answering the question for you next.
Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food. And of course, you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers. I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie!
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't fading. You could assume it.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta, from movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed.
In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Jesse.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning.
I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Okay,
Right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
a little water in my
yes.
cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us.
We are now in the next phase of President Trump's impeachment trial. Senators get the chance to question White House lawyers and House managers over the next 2 days, but we still don't have an answer on whether or not witnesses will be brought in to testify. That includes former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Claims from his new book are a main topic of conversation both on and off the Senate floor. Here's NBC's Jennifer Johnson with the latest.
Please join me in reciting the pledge.
Today, the next step in President Trump's impeachment trial. Senators questioning White House lawyers and House managers.
Is there any way for the Senate to render a fully informed verdict in this case without hearing the testimony of Bolton, Mulvaney, and the other key eyewitnesses?
The short answer to that question is no.
Then the president would have to have his opportunity to call his witnesses. And there'd be depositions, and this would drag on for months.
Democrats want to hear from former National Security Advisor John Bolton, even though President Trump has already threatened to invoke executive privilege. The New York Times reports sources say Bolton claims in an unpublished book manuscript that President Trump told him he was withholding military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigating the Bidens. The National Security Council today warned Bolton not to publish the book, claiming it contains classified information. In a tweet, President Trump asks, why didn't John Bolton complain about this nonsense a long time ago? The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is calling Bolton a backstabber. Meanwhile, an indicted Giuliani associate made a surprise appearance at the Capitol, saying he, Bolton, and even the president should testify.
Truth is, the president knew everything that was going on.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has tried to avoid witnesses, but some in his party want to call Hunter Biden. One red state Democrat going against his party, saying Hunter Biden might be a relevant witness.
I think so. I really do.
Hunter Biden is irrelevant and a distraction.
Today, questions and answers, but the big question on calling witnesses still far from settled.
More U.S. service members have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries after that Iranian missile attack earlier this month. Last week, the Defense Department said that 34 members were diagnosed with TBIs. That number is now up to 50. The department says of those 50 patients, 31 have returned to duty. The U.S. military says Iran launched ballistic missiles at 2 bases in Iraq, housing U.S. troops on January 8th in retaliation for the U.S. airstrike that killed the Iranian general. The day after the attack on the Iraq base, President Trump said no one was hurt or killed, but the chief Pentagon spokesman says some symptoms of TBI can develop late.
Just a few little nuisance showers out there this evening after a rather overcast day. Once again, we've had many of those in the past week or so. And you can see those light showers moving in through Fannin, Union, Towns, Hall counties right now, stretching on up into Rabun County and in towards Asheville. A little wintry mix right now. So it's not out of the question we couldn't have a flake or two flying here in the highest elevations across far northeast Georgia. But most of this rain is just so very light. It's really not going to have much impact there. And then heading down 75 towards Macon, you may run into a shower there, and then stretching over towards 20 and into Eatonton. They're seeing a little bit of light rain as well. But most of the rain has been to our south here from about Muskogee County, stretching over towards Macon and then in towards Dublin and Savannah. So that's where the heaviest rain has been today. And it's associated with a system that's in the northeast Gulf of Mexico. It's been feeding the moisture in throughout the day, and that's going to continue to move to the east tonight. So that should give us a pretty nice day as we head into our Thursday. Looking out over Rome, you can see how quiet it is out there this evening. And we had some nice sunset pictures tonight. Both Guy and Judy were out on their deck there, Guy and Judy Dockstetter. And that, boy, look how gorgeous the sunset was. It was kind of pink and orange, really pretty as you look at the cloud ceiling there. And then Tammy Lee in Carrollton posting this picture as well of the sun going down and those kind of sorbet colored skies. So we want to thank our storm trackers for giving us a picture of how things were looking out there during sunset this evening. So we're looking at temperatures right now, a little too warm for snow here across far north Georgia. We're at 42 degrees in Blairsville, even though it's 33 right now in Brasstown Ball, 45 in Canton, 44 in Gainesville, and 45 in Duluth. So temperatures are a little on the mild side due to all the cloud cover we had today. And overnight, that's going to clear out. So temperatures will be dropping back down in the 30s once again. So you'll have to grab a jacket before you head out the door tomorrow morning, but it will be dry for your morning commute. So we do have a chance for showers to our south yet this evening if you happen to be heading in that direction. It will be a dry Thursday, although there'll be some clouds kind of lingering, especially in the North Georgia mountains. And then rain returns on our Friday afternoon, evening into Saturday. So it looks like the first half of our weekend, meh. Second half of our weekend looks pretty darn good. So we're seeing kind of a bit of a wedge pattern trying to establish itself here with that northeasterly flow. Not cold enough, though, to see any wintry precip yet tonight. We had originally thought maybe we would, but it looks very, very light in terms of the precip, and it's just not quite cold enough. So we're seeing those northeasterly winds continue on our Thursday. We'll be dry throughout the day, and then the clouds roll back in on our Thursday evening and overnight into Friday. So Friday, again, looks like a very gray start to the day. I don't think we'll have any rain until we get to the late afternoon, though, and that's when it's moving up from South Georgia. We'll see it moving across the Atlanta metro area during the evening, and then overnight all across North Georgia, becoming pretty widespread by Saturday morning. All rain, no storms expected, just a nice spreading of showers here as we head through our Saturday and into the afternoon as well. And then it should start to clear out overnight. Well, I could see as much as a ½ inch of rain from that rain event coming in late Friday into Saturday. So we're looking at a dry day on Thursday, although there'll be a few clouds that are stubborn to clear out. Friday, we'll have a chance for the rain late in the day into Saturday. So the first half of the weekend may be a little wet. Sunday dries it. We dry it out, and we're going to start out February on a dry and fairly warm note before the rain returns late Tuesday and into Wednesday. And we'll be right back after this very brief break.
Can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie!
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'ma do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume what the groom was
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? God. It's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed.
In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning.
I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Okay,
Right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
right? Yeah,
okay.
a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
These pictures look like something out of a Marvel movie, maybe. It looks really radioactive.
It's bad stuff. A lot of people posting pictures on a bright green creek on social media wondering what is going on with the water by the Northside Beltline Trail. We have answers, and it turns out, well, according to officials, and we like to say that in local TV, nothing sinister here. We checked with the Atlanta Fire and Rescue, who responded to a call last night. They say this is actually residue from a chemical dye that Watershed Management uses to conduct tests. It's like food coloring. Yeah, sure, it's harmless to animals, okay. Crews wash it out, and eventually the color goes away, and it's not quite as green. We covered a story similar to this in 2017. People in Buckhead were concerned about the water near their homes looking like a hazmat scene.
Yeah, so the next time you see this green color, you don't have to panic. You can check with your city's watershed management to see if they're conducting tests nearby.
Yeah, they say it's okay.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
we'll see. Still to come on Primetime tonight, children rescued from a burning condo complex in South Fulton, and the tense moments all caught on camera.
All we feel is good vibes. We vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hence. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun. And they're convenient,
fun.
but they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hate
and they
cliffhangers.
would, you know, they would wait the next week. You were, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with it.
Metro Atlanta resident and Basketball Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal still grieving over the death of his former teammate Kobe Bryant. And tonight he has decided to turn his grief into something positive to help the victims. He tweeted that he plans to donate all the proceeds from his annual Super Bowl Funhouse event to the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Foundation and to the families of the other victims of Sunday's helicopter crash. He said Kobe would want us to push through and celebrate life, so let's do just that. The hashtag #GirlDead has also been a top trend since Kobe Bryant called himself that during a conversation with former 11 Live anchor and current SportsCenter anchor Elle Duncan.
It caught the attention of Dr. Bernice King earlier this evening. She tweeted out images of her as a child with her father, Dr. King, also using the hashtag #GirlDad.
A lot of folks sharing with that one as well, using that comment as well.
Very nice. What do you guys got going on tonight?
Well, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock. It's that time.
It's almost 9 o'clock, as you know. We got a lot coming up here on 11 Alive Primetime News.
Bad sports for students from another school accused of vandalizing UGA's football field. Hear how, coming up.
Plus, the Marketplace rescue after a car falls off a parking deck with someone inside.
11 Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
You know what? Their job is to uphold the law and protect the public, but a cheating scandal got an entire class of 30 state troopers fired.
It has been one of the top stories on 11alive.com. Elwin Lopez has more on how the cheating scandal came to light.
When that person was disciplined for those activities, he then came forward and said, well, I'm not the only one who cheated. I'm not the only one who did this. And made the allegation that essentially everybody had cheated.
The investigation into the 106 GSP Trooper School led to today's dismissal of 30 of its members, all of whom DPS says admitted to cheating on an online speed detection operator exam, an exam which tests the cadets on their ability to use radar and judge speed.
I mean, it was something that you had to pay attention, but it wasn't rocket science. You know, it wasn't engineering. But there are some principles in there, like the Doppler effect, of how radar works.
The troopers graduated last August, and now the 133 speeding tickets they issued will be put into question.
Part of what we will do will be notifying the court systems that those citations are written and the actions that we've taken against the officer that wrote them.
DPS says the loss of these troopers is a 7-month setback for the agency.
When you lose the amount of people like this, not to the normal thing, it puts a dent in the impact that you can have.
GSP says for now, they'll no longer do online testing. They're also doing a complete audit of the training program to see if the cheating went beyond just this class of cadets.
So because this story is about cheating, it has us curious to check the troopers' code of conduct when they swore it to uphold. The troopers must recognize the badge as a symbol of public faith and public trust. They must vow to never engage in an act of corruption or condone those acts by other officers. To get a full list of the troopers dismissed for cheating, just text the word trooper to 404-873-9114 for a link.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Storm Trackers. I'm here with you live right now on the ATL at 9 o'clock, as well as talking to folks on my phone here, as you see it up on the stand, as I'm doing a Facebook Live right now. If you want to join that conversation about the weather right now, go to my Facebook page, Chris Holcomb 11 Alive, and join us here. We have some folks still saying, like Betty Vale says, hey, Chris, still hoping for snow. Chrissy Summers says no rain in Covington right now. And then Tommy Cook says, snow, Chris, snow. A lot of people want snow, but we don't have any in our area right now. Let me show you what we're watching on radar, where we've had just a couple of light showers. You can see some of this down to the south and east of us. Again, not all of this is making it to the ground, but this is in parts of Jasper County, also in Putnam County, where we have just a couple of light showers just south of I-20 there, right around the Greene County area. Nothing really major going on with that. Also up in North Georgia, a little bit of light rain here, as you can see in parts of Lumpkin County, some of that over in Stevens County near Lake Hartwell, and Hart County as well, right there on the Georgia and South Carolina line. But the bulk of that activity is moving away and not really causing a widespread coverage of rain at all. And you can see that everything is moving off to the east. We still have some lingering clouds, but even those will be breaking up a little bit later on. Take a look at the bigger picture and you can see what we're watching out there for tonight. This is our forecast track, our future radar, showing what we'll see for the rest of the nighttime hours tonight, and nothing is moving in. So we're not really concerned about any additional rain tonight, but the thing that we will see overnight will be the clouds. That'll start breaking up. And once that happens, temperatures are going to start cooling off. Right now we're in the upper 40s. We'll wake up in the morning right around 40 degrees, even some 30s in the outlying areas. Stay with us. We'll talk about that. And when we'll see our next chance for rain for the end of the week, and if that will linger into the weekend.
Well, it is now official. After weeks of speculation, Congressman Doug Collins announced he's entering Georgia's Senate race, which puts him head-to-head against another Republican. Congressman Collins is an outspoken supporter of President Trump and was the president's pick to replace Senator Johnny Isakson. But Governor Brian Kemp appointed Kelly Loeffler to the seat instead. The governor says he will continue to support her when Loeffler and Collins face off in the fall.
We need somebody fighting for us every single day. I said, you go up there and do that, and I will be with you fighting to make sure that we keep you as our U.S. Senator. And Marty, the girls, and I look forward to being on the campaign trail with her.
Governor Kemp has also said he will veto a proposed bill that would allow for a primary to be held before November's special election.
While senators deal with the Q&A of President Trump's impeachment trial, it was business as usual for the man at the center of this debate. President Trump signing the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement on the south lawn of the White House. The trade deal essentially replaces NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. Among those changes, it opens Canadian dairy markets to U.S. producers.
This is a colossal victory for our farmers, ranchers, energy workers, factory workers, and American workers in all 50 states.
Public safety workers in Cobb County are now going to get a raise. The Cobb Board of Commissioners approved this. This includes law enforcement, fire, and other emergency service employees. It's going to cost $5.7 million to move to the new step and grade plan that will increase starting salaries for new hires by more than $4,000 to $46,000 a year. It will also provide incremental raises for most current workers. For better salaries is part of the county's plan to attract and keep employees. Last year, commissioners passed a 7% raise, better benefits, and higher bonuses for recruits. But the city of South Fulton is investing $1 million into new life-saving gear for firefighters. The department will buy protective clothing like jackets, helmets, and gloves. It will also replace the firefighters' breathing apparatus with models that include thermal imaging cameras and wireless location technology.
College Park police say the suspect who murdered a Delta worker inside a secure parking lot is now dead himself. Before taking his own life, police say he killed a second woman in Stockbridge. Joe Henke talked to investigators today.
Today I talked with police from both College Park and Clayton County where these two murders took place. Police from both of those police departments believe a Rayshon Jones was the gunman in each one of these murders. The first one taking place on Sunday night. Police say around 10:30 they found the body of 30-year-old Alexis Reed in the secure parking lot at the Delta secure parking lot. She later died at the hospital. Police say Rayshon Jones was also a Delta employee. They believe he waited for Reed to finish her shift and then shot her in the parking lot. Then yesterday, while being investigated for another woman's murder in Clayton County, police say Jones shot and killed himself.
We spotted him inside a vehicle. Traffic stop was conducted to try to make contact with him regarding our investigation, and that is when he produced a firearm and took his own life.
And police believe the other murder in Clayton County happened sometime between Sunday night and Monday morning. Investigators say Jones shot a 33-year-old Tynesha Shelby at a hotel in Stockbridge, and they found her body when responding to a call around 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Police believe both of these murders were targeted shootings. The Jones knew both of the victims, but the victims, they believe, did not know each other. As far as the motive and details of the relationships that Jones had with each one of these women, those details, I'm told, are still under investigation by police. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Thanks, Joe. So assaults are the fourth leading cause of workplace deaths, according to the National Safety Council. Each year, millions of American workers report being victims of workplace violence. Assaults resulted in more than 18,000 injuries and 458 deaths in 2017. Workplace violence, it falls in 4 different categories: criminal intent, customer, worker on worker, and personal relationships, which overwhelmingly targets women.
Well, a biotech company in Atlanta has signed an agreement to help develop a vaccine for the coronavirus. This is according to our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle. GeoVax Labs also worked on vaccines for Ebola and Zika. And tonight we have learned Georgia Tech is working to bring those 2 students currently studying in China back to the United States. The school has also canceled its spring programs to China. Meanwhile, Look at the empty highways and silent streets in what was once a very busy Wuhan, China. In Beijing, a city of 21 million people looks like a ghost town amid fears of the growing coronavirus outbreak. And the death toll from the virus continues to climb in China as the number of confirmed cases swells to pass to 6,000 people. British Airways now joining the growing number of airlines halting all flights to and from mainland China. American Airlines, United, and several European carriers have already limited or canceled flights there, while Delta says it will continue to watch the situation very closely. Many of those airlines fly in and out of Hartsfield-Jackson, which is one of 20 U.S. airports now screening passengers for coronavirus. Each of these locations is a designated CDC quarantine center, but experts say the risk of infection spreading here still remains low. Also today, the International Ski Federation announcing it's canceling the upcoming men's World Cup races in China, scheduled for February 15th and 16th. This would have been the first test event for the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Officials said while the coronavirus risk is low in that area, the health of the athletes takes priority. All right, still ahead. An ugly act at UGA leaves its mark on the hallowed ground of Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium, at least temporarily.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb live on Facebook right now, taking your weather questions. You can join the conversation happening on his Facebook page. We're going to catch up with him coming up after the break.
And don't forget, we're streaming right now on 11 Alive's YouTube channel. Subscribe and join that conversation in the community section. We've got more 11 Alive news prime time after the break.
Lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food, and of course you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers, I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't fading. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right.
Burglary and criminal trespass, not usually the type of action you would see at UGA Sanford Stadium, but 4 students from another school have been arrested and charged with vandalizing the field and stealing from that stadium. This all took place back in November, just days before the Bulldogs' last home game of the season. Jennifer Bellamy has more.
The Georgia Bulldogs are biting back after a group of students allegedly sneaked into Sanford Stadium, damaged the field with salt, and stole items from inside. UGA's athletic department confirmed the salting of the field, with police saying it happened in November, the Wednesday before the team's final home game of 2019 against Texas A&M, and just months after the field was named to honor legendary UGA coach Vince Dooley. According to an athletic department spokesman, there were some students from another school who sprinkled some salt in one spot on the field. It was fairly quickly removed, and we actually had a game, but the spot was not noticeable. That spot was 6 by 15 feet, according to a report from the University of Georgia Police. The athletic department's director of building services contacted University Police, saying 4 people entered Sanford Stadium without permission and intentionally damaged the field. That area of the turf had to be removed and replaced to fix the damage. Police say the group also stole 3 red UGA seatbacks from the stadium, valued at $8 each, from the south 100 level of the stadium. The seat backs have since been recovered. And on January 15th, the judge issued arrest warrants for Buren Liu, Catherine Tyrone, Grace Johnson, and Taylor Anderson with charges of felony burglary and felony criminal damage.
All right, so those 4 suspects involved are believed to be students from Oxford College of Emory University. All 4 have turned themselves in, and they posted a $3,500 bond.
We're following breaking news tonight. The wife of Kobe Bryant broke her silence a short time ago, posting a message on her Instagram page. It is the first we've heard from her since Kobe and their daughter Gianna were among 9 people killed in that helicopter crash. The post from Vanessa Bryant reads in part, "There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort in knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were so deeply loved. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever. They were our beautiful blessings, taken from us too soon. I'm not sure what our lives hold beyond today, and it's impossible to imagine life without them. But we wake up each day trying to keep pushing because Kobe and our baby girl Gigi are shining on us to light the way." We have Vanessa Bryant's full statement posted on 11alive.com.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Storm Trackers, tracking just a couple of little light showers out there tonight. Nothing really major is going on in our area. I'm talking with folks on Facebook Live. A couple of folks have reported just a few raindrops. Sandra Lampkin is saying no more rain. I'm seeing this on my phone right here if you're wondering what this is. Larquette says good evening from Rome, not reporting any rain there either. And as you can see on radar, we're not seeing much in the form of rain around at all. There are a couple of spots, though, that we're watching up to the north and east, where, again, nothing really widespread. It's really just some clouds that are there. And in some spots, it's just enough moisture to let a few light showers or raindrops to come through. We had some of that in Lumpkin County, North Hall, over in Stevens County, right here in parts of Jackson County, just a little bit of that, around Banks County, excuse me, there. Also down to the south and east of the city, over toward Putnam County, near Lake Oconee, just a little string there of very light showers that extends back into parts of Jasper County and even into parts of Forsyth County here, just north of the Macon area near Monroe, Georgia. So that's what we're watching with that little bit of light rain. And any bit of that is pretty much moving off to the east. It looks like this stuff here is just kind of hanging out near Putnam County. Also, this in northeast Georgia is going to be extending over to the east too. And then eventually we'll lose some of these clouds. I'm going to put the satellite data on here too. And you can see that cloud cover that's going to start thinning out. It's clearing some now in Alabama, and that process is going to take place during the overnight hours here as well. So let me show you what we're watching when you take a look at the big picture. Check out these temperatures around North Georgia right now. And you see the blue color there showing where we're starting to cool down a little bit. We have moved down into the 40s right now, 48 degrees here in Atlanta at this hour. Temperatures pretty uniform. We don't see any wide ranges of temperatures because we still have some of those clouds around. 40, though, is one of the cooler spots in Clayton. Everybody else pretty much there holding in the 40s. Covington a little cooler at 41 degrees compared to the 48 that we have here in Atlanta. So this is what we're watching tonight. Now, what's going to happen is that system moves off. We'll begin to see the clouds breaking up and will clear out overnight. And then that will allow any warm air, all of those 40s that I just showed you here on the map, that will allow, when we clear out, that warmer air to radiate, and we'll see some cooler air coming in. This model is showing lows in the 30s in the morning. I really think here in town we'll hold at 40, and then by afternoon we get up to 55. Some of you will be in the 30s in the morning to start, so it's going to be another chilly morning. So on our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 9 on the wasometer. Sunshine mixing in at times with a few clouds. Here's that moisture that we were talking about. See that? How it moves to the east and those clouds start to clear out tonight. I don't think we'll see any freezing temperatures here in Atlanta. That freezing line dipping down in parts of northwest Georgia with just a couple of a little bit of freezing temperatures that might occur. And then tomorrow, we're just going to see that mixture of sunshine and clouds and no rain in the area. And then on Friday, still not a soaker. We're just talking about a few clouds. And then we think later in the day, this moisture to the south is going to start moving up into our area to give us a rain chance. A couple of those showers could linger into Saturday with high temperatures right around 53 degrees. And then on Sunday and Monday, looking good. Partly cloudy Sunday, mostly sunny Monday, warming up to 62 degrees in the afternoon. 64 Tuesday with the rain chance coming back. And then that rain ends Wednesday and we start to cool down again with temperatures dipping back down to 54 for the middle of the week.
Organ discrimination is a thing. It happens. Today, a family talked with state lawmakers about that reality and asked them to do something about it. There is no law in Georgia that protects patients with disabilities from being taken off a donor waiting list because of their disability. Cheryl Preheim reports.
She brings me so much joy.
This is Gracie. Today, she and her parents were at the Gold Dome helping introduce a new bill. They were with Rick Williams, a Republican from Milledgeville. Gracie's law would give families the right to challenge being removed from an organ transplant list in local court and get priority on the docket. The Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities and ARC are supporting the bill, saying children in Georgia are being denied life-saving transplants solely based on assumptions about their disability. Gracie's mom says the law must reflect that all lives are valuable and deserve the same medical opportunities.
Most families, they don't have 2 and 3 years to fight that battle.
Only 12 states in the country offer this kind of protection. Georgia would be the 13th.
Gracie's family is hoping for bipartisan support. As of today, nearly 2,000 children are on the national transplant waiting list.
All right, straight ahead. Kobe Bryant's death has a lot of folks reflecting on their relationships with their loved ones. One Atlanta star whose relationship with his daughters has been in the national spotlight is now reaching out to apologize.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food. And of course, you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers. I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. So y'all just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume it.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Chester.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Tonight we have some big developments in the investigation into what caused Kobe Bryant's helicopter to crash, killing everyone on board. The NTSB says the helicopter did not have a piece of safety equipment that could have helped the pilot avoid the hill he slammed into. It's called a terrain avoidance warning system, or terrain avoidance warning system. The NTSB recommends it for all large helicopters, but they are not required to have one. The helicopter also did not have a black box or cockpit voice recorder, which could have given more insight into what happened moments before the crash. Flight data shows the helicopter dropped 350 feet in 6 seconds, then accelerated into the hill. Right now, the NTSB says it has not ruled out anything in this investigation.
Kobe Bryant's death has made a lot of people reflect on the relationship they have with their daughters. Yesterday, #GirlDad was trending all across the country after ESPN anchor and former 11 Alive anchor Elle Duncan shared a conversation she had with Brian where he talked about how much he loved parenting 4 girls. And after all of that, an Atlanta star is reaching out on social media to show support for his daughters and also to apologize. On Monday, T.I. shared photos on Instagram of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, who also died in the helicopter crash. He captioned them, "Love on your children and family." He followed up with a heartfelt message to his daughters where he asked them for forgiveness for his imperfections that caused misunderstandings. T.I.'s relationship with his daughters was in the spotlight as recently as November. The rapper got a lot of pushback. You might remember this after he said he asked the doctor to perform what's called a, quote, virginity check on his daughter when she was around 15 or 16 years old. It's a test that has been debunked by healthcare professionals. After that interview, he said he was sorry to his daughter for talking about it so publicly and embarrassing her. And now he's publicly sharing this apology. He wrote, quote, "Life may throw us curveballs and deal us some pretty bad hands at times, but rest assured, you'll never find yourself in a place too high or low for me to be there to catch you when you fall." This is still an ongoing conversation. Some people in his Instagram comments were not forgiving. We would like to know, what do you think about this? You can talk to us about this on the 11 Alive Facebook page.
If someone lives nearby and you haven't seen them, reach out to them. Go to the house. Knock on the door, because they need to hear from you more than ever. We might have lost something great, a legend, but remember the spirit is still with us always. And remember,
You know what? This Delta employee's message is going viral. She reminded passengers flying to LA that life is way too short and to reach out to loved ones to let them know you care. The message came just hours after the death of Kobe Bryant. The video's been viewed more than 30,000 times. Aries says that Delta needs to hire more people just like this. Her contagious positivity made the flight a lot more enjoyable. Delta agrees. The company responded, "It's incredible what a few kind words can do," and the company is glad passengers were able to receive some much needed positivity.
So to come tonight on Primetime, the great Georgia is getting in its ability to combat tobacco use. The results, they may surprise you. YouTube channel where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hate
and they
cliffhangers.
would, you know, they would wait the next week. You're, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. only on 11 Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11 Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram.
News coming into the newsroom right now. The state of Georgia has executed a Jackson County man for the 1997 murders of 2 people. Donnie Lance was sentenced to death for killing his ex-wife and her boyfriend in the late 90s. Dwight Wood was shot twice, while prosecutors say Sabrina Lance was beaten to death. Just last night, we told you, Donnie Lance's children had hoped to convince the state parole board to spare his life, saying they'd already gone through so much after losing their mom, but clemency was denied.
Doctors continue to fight the U.S. vaping injury epidemic. As of last week, the CDC has confirmed more than 2,700 cases. 60 deaths have been confirmed in 27 states and Washington, D.C. However, the agency says it's looking into more deaths. The federal government has already imposed new vaping restrictions, but when it comes to overall tobacco use, a new report says Georgia is dropping the ball big time.
The report grades each state on its tobacco control policies. Georgia received an F.
That's right. The report was conducted by the American Lung Association, and as you can see, Georgia earned failing grades in all but one of the 5 categories. The one category didn't get an F. It actually received a D. That was for strength of smoke-free workplace laws. The report continues to say the adult tobacco use rate is 24.5%.
The organization says the need for Georgia to protect teens from tobacco is more urgent now than ever. It's why state legislators are considering a bill that would impose new restrictions on the products. Senate Bill 298 was introduced by Gwinnett County Republican Renee Unterman. The bill would raise the minimum age to purchase vaping products in Georgia from 18 to 21. It would also increase penalties for selling those products to minors and restrict packaging that appeals to young people. If you want to learn more about the bill, maybe this could impact your family, be sure to head to our website. The article is also posted in the As Seen on TV section of the 11 Alive app.
And we're looking on radar right now. It's just those few light showers that we have around. Nothing really major going on. A couple light showers here over to the south and east of us out I-20 closer to Lake Oconee. Not all of this is reaching to the ground, and it's really just a few raindrops. Also up 85 north, we have just a couple of showers there in parts of Banks County moving into Franklin County. Most of this rain is drifting over to the east and it's going to be moving out of our area. Now we just have the clouds that are still with us. Those are going to begin the process of breaking up and clearing out tonight. We've already started seeing that over in Alabama. You can see some of those holes developing in those clouds. That same thing will happen here during the overnight hours in the Atlanta area. So here's what we're going to be watching as we go through the next few days. We're expecting dry weather here for tomorrow. A few showers, though, coming in for the end of the week. Some of those will linger a little bit until the beginning of the weekend, but Saturday is not going to be a washout, just a few scattered showers around. Then we'll continue that drying out process for the rest of the weekend, later in the day, Saturday, and then especially into Sunday. Stay with us. We'll time all of that out for you in the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot, sir. Well, the punishment will stand for a principal who was disciplined for not immediately reporting abuse allegations to police. Well, a parent wanted the principal to face even harsher discipline after it reportedly took her 3 weeks to alert police that a special needs teacher had allegedly mistreated students. 11 Alive's Caitlin Ross was there as the school board heard the parents' appeal and other parents came to their defense.
I know the character, the true character of Dr. Hildebrand, and I think that what is happening is a modern-day witch hunt against that woman.
Teresa D'Amelio says she never had a problem with Elm Street principal Dr. Christy Hildebrand, even when her children had a problem at school.
She took care of it swiftly, immediately, and she showed compassion and kindness and caring, and she handled the situation.
She showed up to support Dr. Hildebrand in the school board hearing about her suspension. Hildebrand was accused of not reporting suspected child abuse soon enough. The superintendent removed Dr. Hildebrand from the school for 5 days to retrain her on mandated reporting practices, and she served a 2-day unpaid suspension.
Laws are laws, and she needed to be reprimanded for the law that she did not follow. But I think what was handed down was sufficient, and I think that calling for her to be fired is extreme.
Jillian Wooten filed the appeal. Her son Aiden was in the classroom where the suspected abuse took place. She doesn't think 2 days is nearly long enough.
I understand people make mistakes. That's fine. Everyone should be allowed some form of grace and some form of a second chance. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was multiple occasions.
She was not given the chance to speak at the hearing and says she's removed her child from the school because Dr. Hildebrand is back in it.
I think a better fit would have been her to have been moved to a different school. Sure, second chance, but not with my child.
And Noonan police tell 11 Alive that the criminal child abuse allegations are still under investigation, and the criminal investigation into Dr. Hildebrand's reporting is under investigation as well. The board upheld her 2-day suspension in today's hearing. You know, it may be really difficult for children with special needs to voice when abuse occurs in the classroom, but advocates say there are signs parents should watch out for. Be sure to check for any type of changes in behavior or unexplained injuries. The child may develop a fear of going to school, and always watch to see if your child develops any changes to sleep or appetite habits or any drastic changes in school performance.
We are in the next phase of President Trump's trial for impeachment. Senators now get the chance to question White House lawyers and House managers over the next 2 days. But we still don't have an answer of whether witnesses will be brought in to testify. That includes former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Claims from his new book are a main topic of conversation both on and off the Senate floor. Here's NBC's Jennifer Johnson with more.
Join me in reciting the pledge.
Today, the next step in President Trump's impeachment trial. Senators questioning White House lawyers and House managers.
Is there any way for the Senate to render a fully informed verdict in this case without hearing the testimony of Bolton, Mulvaney, and the other key eyewitnesses?
The short answer to that question is no.
Then the president would have to have his opportunity to call his witnesses. And there'd be depositions, and this would drag on for months.
Democrats want to hear from former National Security Advisor John Bolton, even though President Trump has already threatened to invoke executive privilege. The New York Times reports sources say Bolton claims in an unpublished book manuscript that President Trump told him he was withholding military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigating the Bidens. The National Security Council today warned Bolton not to publish the book, claiming it contains classified information. In a tweet, President Trump asks, why didn't John Bolton complain about this nonsense a long time ago? The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is calling Bolton a backstabber. Meanwhile, an indicted Giuliani associate made a surprise appearance at the Capitol, saying he, Bolton, and even the president should testify.
Truth is, the president knew everything that was going on.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has tried to avoid witnesses, but some in his party want to call Hunter Biden. One red state Democrat going against his party, saying Hunter Biden might be a relevant witness.
I think so. I really do. Hunter Biden is irrelevant and a distraction.
Today, questions and answers, but the big question on calling witnesses still far from settled.
More U.S. service members have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries after the Iranian missile attack earlier this month. Last week, the Defense Department said that 34 service members were diagnosed with TBIs. That number is now up to 50. The department says of those 50 patients, 31 have returned to duty. The U.S. military says Iran launched ballistic missiles at 2 bases in Iraq housing U.S. troops on January 8th in retaliation for a U.S. airstrike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Well, the day after the attack on the Iraqi base, President Trump said no one was hurt or killed. But the chief Pentagon spokesperson says some symptoms of TBI can develop late.
Topping our speed feed tonight, a scary situation for people at a Buckhead shopping center. A woman drove her SUV over the edge of a parking deck and crashed into a wall, leaving the car suspended 10 feet off the ground. Look at that. There was right by the Target, right across from Phipps Plaza there in Buckhead. Atlanta Fire pulled her out. Thankfully, she didn't appear to be seriously hurt. But you can see the front of her SUV there is mangled, and the barrier that lined the edge of that deck, it was just dangling there. Atlanta Fire and Rescue has not said what led up to this crash. And if you are way ahead of the curve, maybe you've already filed your taxes, and soon you could be asking, hey, where's my refund? The IRS is telling people, hold on, be patient. According to the IRS, refunds typically take 21 days after a return is received. That's barring no further review. Whether you file electronically or on paper, the fastest way to get a refund is through direct deposit. There are also multiple ways to track your refund online.
Pups with a Purpose, a program that brings sheltered dogs into the Forsyth County Jail. Organizers say the puppies have done more than they could have ever imagined. My News reporter Brittany Kleinpeter has more.
The jail has kind of given us the, the opportunity to, give them a new life, and it's given me, follow instructions, structure in my life. This guy is Romeo. He's a good guy. We've done a lot of training together.
I had no idea, honestly, what I was getting into when I was asked to do it. But the biggest change has probably been in the guys. It's giving them something to look forward to, to do every day.
Our goal is just to get the dogs adopted out, but not just adopted out, but to give them thorough obedience training so the next family has it very easy and they don't want to give the dog back.
A lot of times we see the dogs come into the shelter very unruly, not trained, lived outside most of their lives, and then they come here, they get trained, and by the time they get adopted, they're like perfect little gentlemen or little ladies.
We want the inmates to be able to get a new set of life skills. The purpose is for the dogs to give them a greater purpose, and for the inmates to give them a greater purpose, in hopes that they won't come back in here.
And Forsyth County officials say what makes their program so unique is that they also train therapy animals. They also provide a post-training for the dogs once they are adopted. To learn a lot more about this program, just head to My Coming News section of 11alive.com.
Super Bowl Sunday, just days away, the 49ers and Chiefs in what should be an epic showdown. Unlike most Super Bowls, the venues in South Florida, they're pretty spread out, meaning police and military are on high alert for any threats on the ground, in the air, and at sea.
And we have to keep in mind that the Chiefs and 49ers are not the only ones with a lot on the line on Super Bowl Sunday. Advertisers literally have millions riding on it, and commercial fans just can't wait.
NBC's Mark Barger reports on what's in store.
It's the game before the game. Walmart unveiling its first ever Super Bowl ad days before Sunday's kickoff.
It really just allows you to get more mileage out of, such a big moment for the brand.
Advertisers spend $5.6 million just to air a 30-second Super Bowl commercial. Wicked smart. Even more spent making it.
Every year we learn something new and we take that into the process.
Lessons that led to Lil Nas X and Sam Elliott touting Cool Ranch Doritos.
You can't touch this.
And MC Hammer introducing Cheetos popcorn.
There will not be a commercial break without some face that you recognize.
Star power that includes Bryan Cranston in a lighter version of a horror classic.
Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
I am thirsty.
We're trying to get a fast start to this fantastic product.
But some companies keep ads secret right up till game day.
Look, it's the Bud Light.
Last year's Bud Light Game of Thrones crossover, a prime example.
You need to know that it's going to be an ad that will get people talking and that you'll get that social buzz after the fact.
Leader. That's what Michael Bloomberg's counting on with his Super Bowl campaign ad. So is the man he's trying to replace, President Trump.
This could either be an opportunity to win voters or also to alienate voters if you don't have the right message.
And on Super Bowl Sunday,
yes, Mr. President,
there is no shortage of messages.
11 Alive has an entire page dedicated to Super Bowl 54. For all updates regarding the big game, be sure to head to 11alive.com/Super Bowl.
All right, still to come on Prime Time tonight. Children rescued from a burning condo complex in South Fulton. And these tense moments are all caught on camera.
Live's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Yeah.
Right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin.
Well,
even more beautiful skin, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not gonna be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots. And of course, I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11 Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The Outcast mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these 2 hip-hop legends. News of the mural went viral when Big Boy himself gave a shout-out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little Five Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibe with it. It's a good time. We don't worry about the hate. We just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive.
Tense moments caught on camera. Very scary situation out here, showing a woman lowering not 1 but 2 children to safety as the South Fulton condo complex goes up in flames.
Now, this is breaking news we told you about on our sister station 11 Alive at 5. No one was hurt in the fire, but it heavily damaged dozens of units.
11 Alive, Shanu Hur arrived on the scene right after firefighters got there and got things under control. He's been tweeting out updates all evening long. He's here now to show us live in South Fulton with the latest information tonight. Shanu, you've been out there all evening. Welcome back.
Yeah, I've been out there all evening. This was a massive fire, taking out 12 condos in a building in South Fulton. In video shared with me from a resident, these neighbors came to each other's rescue before firefighters even got to the scene.
Big fire. People living at the Camelot Club condominiums in South Fulton were in disbelief as this massive fire tore through these units.
Bad. And for them to come home and see this is like...
Kesha Kesley owns 2 condos in the building and pulled up to the fire as firefighters continued to spray down what was left of the homes. People who live here, though, could not afford to wait, and neighbors came to help each other out. This man ran up to the building with a ladder as a family tossed clothes outside and helped catch children being lowered off the second-story balcony.
I have 7 children of my own, so I can only imagine being in a situation where you come home from work and you don't have anything.
South Fulton County Fire says 2 people were hurt in this fire, but only one was taken to the hospital for burns on the face and hands. Medics treated the other person at the scene. Both were rescued from the 3rd floor. People who live here are now asking what caused this fire.
Now, South Fulton officials say the Red Cross is helping about 60 people tonight. The Department of Recs, Parks, and Cultural Affairs are also helping out.
All right, Chino, thank you so much. You can see more clips of the cell phone video on our story on 11alive.com and also the 11 Alive News app.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Storm Trackers. We're still watching just a few light showers north and east of the city, also south and east of the city. Not a real big coverage of rain, not a lot of rain. This is really just a few raindrops that we have around. I'm going to take you up to the north side first. You can see just a couple of these here in North Hall County, right there at 985. just to the east of Lake Lanier, moving into right there along the Hall and Banks County line, not too far off from the Gillsville area, just a couple of light showers there. Also, as you move over into Franklin County up 85, right before you get to the South Carolina line, we have just a couple of light showers there. Also, south of I-20, we're keeping an eye on just a few showers here. This is near the Lake Oconee area. There's Eatonton, Putnam County, also Morgan County, Greene County, just a couple of light showers there right along I-20. Also, a little bit of that stretching back into parts of Monroe County, just south of Butts County there at Forsyth, the city of Forsyth there in Georgia. Just a couple of light showers that we're watching. Again, just a few raindrops, nothing really major. The trend, though, with this is that they will continue moving on over to the east and pushing out of the area. We still have some clouds around, but those clouds are going to start breaking up. We're already seeing evidence of that right here in West Georgia. I know this is kind of hard to see, but you see the clouds here as they're starting to break up. We're seeing a few holes in those, allowing some clearing to take place. And once we see those clouds breaking up, our temperatures are going to fall a little bit more. Take a look at what we're watching out there right now. A few pictures with some of these clouds that we had around tonight. With the sun setting, gave us some nice color. This was taken by one of our 11 Alive community storm trackers, Carol Simmons, as she was up in Gwinnett County earlier leaving. And you can see just as the sun was going down below the horizon, it hit some of those clouds. Another nice picture from Gary and Judy Dockstader here, again, 11 Alive community storm trackers, of the nice colorful sky here in our area tonight. Now, our temperature today made it up to 52 degrees. Our low this morning was 42. So even though it was kind of chilly this morning, it was still above average. We should be around 35 for this time of year, but our high for today of 52 was actually a couple degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Take a look. No rain officially at Hartsfield-Jackson. Even though there were just a couple of raindrops around, nothing hit officially at Hartsfield-Jackson. So we're about 4 inches above where we should be in rainfall for today. Here's a look at these temperatures. 48 here in Atlanta now. A lot of 40s, not any big ranges of temperatures. One of the cooler spots is in LaGrange. That's where those clouds are starting to break up now. Also cooler up in the mountains, lower 40s in Blairsville and in Clayton. So as those clouds break up and we see more clear skies, our temperatures will be dropping a little bit more. This model is going 37 in the morning. I really think it's going to be closer to right at around 40 degrees here in Atlanta to start in the morning. Outside the city, I do think it'll be cooler. Then we get up to 55 in the afternoon. We'll have sunshine mixing in with a few clouds. So on our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 9. Not too bad, right? So you can see that clearing sky out there tonight, starting off tomorrow with sunshine, just a couple of lingering clouds around possible. Lunchtime, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. In the afternoon, actually looking pretty good tomorrow. No concerns about rain. Then as we get into Friday, a few more clouds start building in. We'll watch a little moisture that's trying to build from the south. See that? That's going to move in later in the day and into the evening on Friday with that better chance for some showers. A couple of those will linger into Saturday too, with high temperatures both days in the lower 50s. And then Sunday, partly cloudy skies, looking really nice. A low of 38 in the morning, high of 57. 42 in the morning here on your Monday with a high of 62. Even a little warmer Tuesday at 64, but we'll see a few showers that will start developing here. And then some showers linger into early Wednesday. Once that moves out, cooler air is going to settle in for the middle of the week with high temperatures right around 54 degrees.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. A major milestone for a man that helped shape the city of Atlanta today. The former Clark College professor William Roby turned 100 years old. Mr. Roby is a Washington High School alum and World War II veteran. He was also a professor at Clark, the former president of the Empire Board of Realists, and the former chairman of the board with the Atlanta Business League. But despite his accomplishments, Roby says he's just grateful to have his family by his side.
I want to thank all of you for coming and endowing me with your presence on this occasion. You make me feel like I am somebody.
Absolutely. Roby continues to say that he's grateful for everyone that's helped him along the way, and he hopes to live another 10 years. Happy birthday.
All right, folks, you know what time it is. You see your screen. It is time for Hump Day's edition of the A-Scene, and we are kicking off with sightings and selfies of actor extraordinaire, Mr. Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, he's actually filmed in Atlanta several times, but this weekend and this week he's here for a different reason. The Instant Family star was seen right here at Function 45 training facility both Sunday and yesterday. And on his Instagram, he was spotted working out and even took a few photos with gym attendees. Don't they look great there? Then by Monday night, we
guess he was a little hungry for a burger as he and his brother, Chef Paul Wahlberg, were front and center for the Atlanta grand opening of Wahlburgers off of Peachtree Street. Now, of course, they took a few photos with fans, and this is actually their second location here in Atlanta. The first one is in Battery Park, and when I tell you their burgers are fantastic, you gotta try this out. The second location officially opens to the public on February 4th. And time for you to catch a casting. Yeah, casting directors for Wife Swap are back in the A. They're looking for extremely opinionated families with big personalities to appear in the upcoming season of Wife Swap. Yeah, the Paramount Network wants families that are amazing, unique, uncommon, one of a kind. Their words, not mine. They want you to have your own way of doing things or enjoy a weird hobby. Maybe you're fanatics about something or have interesting rules for your household, or maybe you're just plain crazy. Families that appear on the show get $10,000, and filming begins in April of this year. All details are at 11alive.com/theAscene. And as always, folks, if you see any celebrities in town, use the hashtag #TheAscene and head to our Instagram, send us a DM, and let us know about it. Along the Beltline, I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
bringing us together to act?
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and they
cliffhangers.
would, you know, they would wait the next week. You were, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 Million Man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11 Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality.
Well, it's almost here. Music Midtown brings more than 50,000 people to Piedmont Park each day of the festival. Today, it revealed its first headliner for 2020. Emo rockers My Chemical Romance return to the United States for the first time in 9 years, and they're going to be in Atlanta for Music Midtown. The festival is September 19th and 20th. We're going to hear more of the lineup in the next few weeks, folks. Pre-tickets are available right now. We have more information on our website at 11alive.com.
We're going to see a nice day tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. It'll be dry, high of 55. A couple of showers developing later on Friday, lingering into Saturday. Second half of the day, Saturday looks good, and the second half of the weekend looks good. Sunday will be a nice day, and then dry Monday with more showers for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right. We're getting it in doses. We'll take it when we can get it. Stick around. Prime time goes on at 10. Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food, and of course you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers, I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie!
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm gonna be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, call me, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't fading. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed.
In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Chesney.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every week.
11 Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We begin with breaking news tonight. For the first time since Kobe Bryant's deadly crash, his widow, Vanessa Bryant, has broken her silence.
A short time ago, she posted a message on Instagram.
So the post reads in part, "There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort in knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were so deeply loved. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever."
And we have new developments in the investigation into what caused Kobe Bryant's helicopter to crash in Southern California on Sunday, killing everyone on board. The NTSB says the helicopter did not have a piece of safety equipment that could have helped the pilot avoid the hill that he slammed into. It is called a terrain avoidance warning system. The NTSB recommends it for large helicopters, but they are not required to have it. Flight data showing the helicopter dropped 350 feet in just 6 seconds, then accelerated into the hill. Right now, the NTSB says it has not ruled out anything in its investigation. We have more coverage online, as you have seen prior. You can learn more about all 9 victims killed in the crash. Also read Vanessa Bryant's full statement that came tonight. We also have that for you in the As Seen on TV section of the 11 Alive app.
New at 10, a Metro Atlanta lawyer sits behind bars tonight accused of paying a 16-year-old girl for sex. Investigators say he picked the teen up from school.
And as Ryan Kruger shows us, this arrest comes as the state is taking big steps to try and tackle sex trafficking.
On his website, Enan Stillman says he specializes in several different types of law, but there's one particular law that has him in serious trouble. Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies say Stillman picked up a 16-year-old girl in front of her school in December and then paid her for sex. While 16 is the legal age of consent in Georgia, paying someone under the age of 18 for sex is considered trafficking.
Sadly, the state of Georgia also has some of the highest rates of human trafficking across the country.
Georgia First Lady Marty Kemp has been on the front lines of the fight against trafficking. This week, she spoke in Washington, D.C. as the U.S. Department of Transportation announced that hundreds of companies have signed up to teach their employees about how to stop trafficking
and crack down on those engaging in human trafficking, including those using our transportation infrastructure to traffic others.
This year, there's growing movement in the state legislature to pass new bills combating trafficking, including one that would clear criminal records of trafficking victims who are caught up in the life. I spoke to one survivor who told me those criminal charges can often hold them back.
The big problem we have are survivors that have caught charges while in the life. They have problems getting housing, employment, just basic everyday needs that we take for granted.
Among the local groups that have signed on to combat human trafficking, MARTA, UPS, and Delta.
Tense moments caught on camera showing a woman lowering two children to safety as a South Fulton condominium complex goes up in flames. It happened just after 2 o'clock this afternoon at a place called Camelot Club Condominiums. That is in the city of South Fulton. Neighbors got into action very quickly to try to save each other as they waited for firefighters to arrive. South Fulton County Fire says 2 people were hurt in this fire, but only one was taken to the hospital for burns on the face and hands. Medics treated the other person at the scene. Both were rescued from the 3rd floor.
New tonight, the man officers called the most violent leader in Spalding County is off the streets. It started with a traffic stop and ended with a suspected gang leader in an attic. Hope Ford talked to the sheriff about the arrest and how this showcases a bigger problem in Georgia.
He is a violent person. He is a legitimate bad guy.
Myron Watson, a.k.a. Copperfield, is well known to Spalding County Sheriff Daryl Dix.
He was not the one who went out and laid his hands on people, but he had other people do it for him at his command.
Deputies arrested the 41-year-old on Monday after finding him in an attic.
I think that at the time he was in such shock that we were there.
6 guns and evidence of dogfighting were found in Watson's house, along with another gang member. Watson, meanwhile, has a lengthy criminal history.
Aggravated assaults, kidnapping, witness tampering. At the time that we arrested him, he was out on bond from Tattnall County when he was trying to sneak drugs into the prison down there.
Gangs smuggling contraband into prisons is a statewide problem. The GBI says the state's largest gang, the Ghostface Gangsters, use prisons to move drugs, guns, and to recruit. Sheriff Dix, however, says recruiting is moving beyond prisons.
You're starting to see elementary school kids commonly flashing gang signs or with gang graffiti. It goes all the way up through the middle schools into the high schools and everything.
The sheriff told me he often hears people refusing to believe gangs in Georgia are as dangerous as the Bloods and Crips of the East and West Coast. But he adds he and his deputies see it every day.
Do so many people have to die? Do so many people have to be shot before they meet the level of it being considered a real gang? They're not wannabe gang members. They are dangerous individuals.
The GBI says there's at least 71,000 gang members across the state. So how does the Spalding County Sheriff plan to tackle the problem?
When it comes to gangs, we're an equal opportunity incarcerator. We do everything that we can to make their lives miserable.
And the sheriff told me in order to keep gang members like Watson off the streets for good, they're being charged with multiple violations of the Georgia Criminal Street Gang Act. The act was passed to give harsher punishments to gang members so that they stay in prison.
All right, thank you, Hope. A frightening situation for people inside a Buckhead shopping center. A woman drove her SUV over the edge of a parking deck and then crashed into a wall, leaving the car suspended about 10 feet off the ground. This is a really busy place. It's where the Target and Publix are located across from Phipps Plaza. Atlanta Fire pulled her out. She didn't appear to be seriously injured, but you can see the front of her SUV. It is mangled. That is a really busy place. That could have been much worse. The barrier that lined the edge of the deck was dangling, as you saw. Atlanta Fire and Rescue has not said how exactly that occurred.
About an hour ago, a man from Jackson County was executed after the parole board denied clemency. Donnie Lance was sentenced to death for killing his ex-wife and her boyfriend in the late 90s. Dwight Wood was shot twice, while prosecutors say Sabrina Lance was beaten to death. Lance's adult children hope to convince the state board of parole to spare his life, saying that they'd already gone through so much after losing their mom.
An Atlanta company is joining the fight against a deadly strain of coronavirus that's killed more than 100 people. Our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle say that GeoVax Labs has signed up to help create a vaccine, along with the developer in Wuhan, China, believed to be the center of the outbreak. GeoVax has a history of working on these big public health concerns. They have worked to develop vaccines for the Ebola and Zika viruses, as well as malaria.
This story has been doing numbers online today, so we know their job is to uphold the law and protect the public. They make a promise to maintain the public trust, but a cheating scandal calls into question the integrity of an entire class of state troopers and brings the questions about all the tickets those troopers wrote.
This is really a big story. The state says that there was no choice but to fire all of them. Elvin Lopez has more for us tonight.
When that person was disciplined for those activities, he then came forward and said, well, I'm not the only one who cheated. I'm not the only one who did this, and made the allegation that essentially everybody had cheated.
The investigation into the 106 GSP Trooper School led to today's dismissal of 30 of its members, all of whom DPS says admitted to cheating on an online speed detection operator exam, an exam which tests the cadets on their ability to use radar and judge speed.
I mean, it was something that you had to pay attention, but it wasn't rocket science. You know, it wasn't engineering. But there are some principles in there, like the Doppler effect, of how radar works.
The troopers graduated last August, and now the 133 speeding tickets they issued will be put into question.
Part of what we will do will be notifying the court systems that those citations are written and the actions that we've taken against the officer that wrote them.
DPS says the loss of these troopers is a 7-month setback for the agency.
When you lose the amount of people like this, not to the normal thing, it puts a dent in the impact that you can have.
Because of this story about cheating, we were really curious to check out the troopers' code of conduct they swore to uphold. We want to see exactly what it said. The troopers must recognize the badge as a symbol of public faith and public trust. They vowed to never engage in acts of corruption or condone those acts by other officers. To get a full list of the troopers dismissed for cheating, text the word trooper to 404-873-9114 for a link.
It is now official. After weeks of speculation, Congressman Doug Collins announced he is entering Georgia's Senate race, which puts him head-to-head against another Republican. This will be quite a battle royale. Congressman Collins, an outspoken supporter of President Trump, he was the president's pick to replace Senator Johnny Isakson, but Governor Kemp appointed Kelly Loeffler to the seat instead. The governor says he will continue to support her when Senator Loeffler and Collins face off in the fall.
We need somebody fighting for us every single day. I said, you go up there and do that, and I will be with you fighting to make sure that we keep you as our U.S. Senator. And Marty, the girls, and I look forward to being on the campaign trail with her.
Governor Kemp has also said he will veto a proposed bill that would allow for a primary to be held prior to November's special election.
Doctors continue to fight the U.S. vaping injury epidemic. As of last week, the CDC has confirmed more than 2,700 cases. 60 deaths have been confirmed in 27 states and Washington, D.C. However, the agency does say it is looking into more deaths. The federal government has already imposed some new vaping restrictions, but when it comes to overall tobacco use, a new report says Georgia is dropping the ball big time. The report grades each state on its tobacco control policies. Georgia got an F. The report was conducted by the American Lung Association. As you can see, Georgia earned failing grades in all but one of the 5 categories. Even that one got a D. That was for the strength of smoke-free workplace laws. The report continues to say the adult tobacco use rate is 24.5%. The organization says the need for Georgia to protect teens from tobacco is more urgent now than ever. It's why state legislators are considering a bill that would impose new restrictions on the products. Senate Bill 298, look out for that one coming up, was introduced by Gwinnett County Republican Renee Unterman. The bill would raise the minimum age to purchase vaping products in Georgia from 18 to 21. It would also increase penalties for selling those products to minors and restrict packaging that appeals to young people.
We are tracking a little bit of rain here on radar. Really light stuff northeast and southeast of the city. It's moving out. Stay with us. We'll let you know if that means we'll have a dry Thursday and when we'll see rain coming back.
Well, a number of people have been posting pictures of what looks like a Doppler weather map that flows the Green Creek water. It's all over social media. The question obviously is this bad for you? Is it dangerous? We'll give you some answers coming up next.
Long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun, and they're convenient, but they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it.
The punishment will stand for a principal who was disciplined for not immediately reporting abuse allegations to police.
A parent wanted the principal to face even harsher discipline after it reportedly took her 3 weeks to alert police that a special needs teacher had allegedly mistreated students. Caitlin Ross was there as the school board heard the parents' appeal.
I know the character, the true character of Dr. Hildebrand, and I think that what is happening is a modern-day witch hunt against that woman.
Teresa D'Amelio says she never had a problem with Elm Street principal Dr. Christy Hildebrand, even when her children had a problem at school.
She took care of it swiftly, immediately, and she showed compassion and kindness and caring, and she handled the situation.
She showed up to support Dr. Hildebrand in the school board hearing about her suspension. Hildebrand was accused of not reporting suspected child abuse soon enough. The superintendent removed Dr. Hildebrand from the school for 5 days to retrain her on mandated reporting practices, and she served a 2-day unpaid suspension.
Laws are laws, and she needed to be reprimanded for the law that she did not follow. But I think what was handed down was sufficient, and I think that calling for her to be fired is extreme.
Jillian Wooten filed the appeal. Her son Aiden was in the classroom where the suspected abuse took place. She doesn't think 2 days is nearly long enough.
I understand people make mistakes. That's fine. Everyone should be allowed some form of grace and some form of a second chance. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was multiple occasions.
She was not given the chance to speak at the hearing and says she's removed her child from the school because Dr. Hildebrand is back in it.
I think a better fit would have been her to have been moved to a different school. Sure, second chance, but not with my child.
So Noonan police say the principal and the criminal child abuse allegations are still under investigation. Also, the criminal investigation directly into Dr. Hildebrand's reporting is still ongoing too. The board upheld her 2-day suspension in the very short hearing today.
It may be difficult for children with special needs to voice when abuse occurs in the classroom, but advocates say there are signs that every parent should watch out for. Make sure you check for any change in behavior or unexplained injuries. The child may develop a fear of going to school. And always watch to see if your child develops any changes to sleep or appetite or any drastic changes in school performance. Weather time, chilly, and maybe some precipitation certainly on our way.
There are some good days in our future, but first we got to look out for some rain. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb is looking for that for us.
Yeah, and not a lot around Atlanta, but we do have a few showers north and east of the city and a little bit of that down to the south and east of us as well. And this is really light. If you were watching us tonight at 5 and 6 o'clock, we were talking about just how most of the heavier rain was well down to the south, but just to not be surprised if we kind of got caught by maybe a little light shower scattered over North Georgia. And this is all that we're coming up with right now here in Hall County, right along the Hall and Jackson County line, right there moving into parts of Banks County, near the Homer area, and between Lula and Homer, there around Gillsville, just a couple of light showers, not anything major, no storms or anything with this. And then also a few showers a little bit more down to the south when you go down toward I-20 here near Lake Oconee. We had a couple of showers earlier. Those have all kind of fallen apart, just a little bit down here around Milledgeville and over toward the Toomsboro area. And you can see that they just kind of develop, drift to the east a little bit, and then really start to fall apart. And not even all of that is reaching the ground either. So just know this is the end of any rain chances for a while until we get into Friday when we'll see the rain chances coming back. And we're even watching the cloud cover out to the west start to break up a little bit. See some of those holes developing there right along the Georgia-Alabama line. That's where we're actually starting to see some clearing, and that process is going to continue through the rest of the nighttime hours as that clearing begins to move into metro Atlanta tonight. And by tomorrow morning, we're going to start off with some sunshine around. So here's a look at what we're going to be watching out there with these temperatures around North Georgia. It is starting to cool off a little bit more. Look at LaGrange. That's because those clouds have broken up a little bit more in LaGrange. It's almost like, you know how when you're in the bed, you have the covers on and it's all nice and warm, and then you just take the covers off, all of a sudden that cold air sweeps into the bed. Well, that's kind of like what's happening out there tonight. We have the cloud cover holding in the warmth from the afternoon. We got up to 52 degrees, and so we're only at 48 now, so we've only dropped 4 degrees from this afternoon when it was the warmest. But as those clouds break up, it allows for any warm air kind of trapped here below to radiate. We call it radiational cooling, and that's where we're going to start cooling off. In fact, you can see that process here dropping down a little bit more, even some 30s here in the morning possible outside the city. I do think here in Atlanta we'll be at about 40 for a low, but a lot of those 30s outside the city. We'll get up to 55 in the afternoon. We will see more sunshine around tomorrow, at times mixing in with a few clouds. So on a scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 9. In fact, here's a look at that forecast track. This is showing mostly sunny skies early on in the morning and even at lunchtime. I do think at times we'll have a few clouds that'll be mixing in, but feeling really nice and a pretty nice day, and we're not worried about any rain moving in. It's going to be on Friday when we see more clouds that start building in. And watch this moisture down to the south. At noon, we're still fine, but it's in the afternoon hours into the evening when this moisture starts spreading into our area. That's going to increase our rain chances for Friday. A couple of showers lingering into Saturday with high temperatures in the lower 50s. Will be nice and dry Sunday, partly cloudy, mostly sunny Monday. Look at that, warming up to 62 Monday, 64 on Tuesday with that rain chance that goes to 40%. And then a low rain chance Wednesday morning before we start to cool down just a little bit more on Wednesday afternoon. Now it's time for our wow weather moment today. It's a close call in Oregon. 2 people narrowly escaped their SUV after boulders fell from the mountain on a highway there. They hit the first one but got out just before the second one fell behind them. So that is definitely a close call. I'm glad we don't have any falling boulders here. We would love to see your weather wow moments. The easiest way to share them is on the 11 Alive Storm Trackers Facebook group. If you're not a member, on Facebook, in that search bar at the top, type in 11 Alive Storm Trackers, go to that group, ask to become a member, and you can be a part of that exclusive weather community where we share weather information and pictures, and that's the first place we go whenever we're looking to show pictures on TV.
I grew up in Colorado, and those kinds of stories were happening all the time, where, not all the time, but certainly enough, where boulders are on top of cars. Just, people are unlucky. It's sort of the equivalent here in Atlanta when trees fall on people.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
It's terrible. Well, here we are, these pictures of the Green River, and it looks like it's something out of a a Marvel movie, maybe it's radioactive, huh?
Maybe it was for a movie scene here in Atlanta, right? That's always happening. People were posting these photos of Bright Green Creek on social media, wondering what was going on with the water by the Northside Beltline Trail. We have some answers, and it turns out it's nothing sinister. We checked with Atlanta Fire and Rescue, who responded to a call last night. They say this is actually residue from a chemical dye that Watershed Management uses to conduct tests. It's kind of like food coloring. It's harmless to animals. Crews wash it out, and eventually the color goes away. We covered a story very similar to this one in 2017. People in Buckhead were concerned about water near their homes looking like a hazmat scene.
I don't know. I'm still not letting my dog near that. I don't want to be near that either.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's green food color. Nah, I don't know. You can check with your city's watershed management to see if they are conducting any tests nearby, and you can make your own determination as to whether you think that's okay or not.
You got to decide for yourself, right? If you want to read up on some of our past coverage of the green water phenomenon, you can find it in the As Seen on TV section of the 11 Alive app.
I'm Francesca Amaker with the A-Scene. Our A-Scene insider spotted the Mark Wahlberg in the A. He was working up a sweat and he was getting some grub. I got the details for you coming up in the A-Scene. On 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
bringing us together to act?
Together our voices grow. Together we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together we are unstoppable. Together we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and they
cliffhangers.
would, you know, they would wait the next week. You were, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11 Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11 Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue.
All right, folks, you know what time it is. You see on screen, it is time for a Hump Days edition of the A-Scene, and we are kicking off with sightings and selfies of actor extraordinaire, Mr. Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, he's actually filmed in Atlanta several times, but this weekend and this week, he's here for a different reason. The Instant Family star was seen right here at Function 45 training facility, both Sunday and yesterday. And on his Instagram, he was spotted working out and even took a few photos with gym attendees. Don't they look great there? Then by Monday night, we guess he was a little hungry for a burger as he and his brother, Chef Paul Wahlberg were front and center for the Atlanta grand opening of Wahlburgers off of Peachtree Street. Now, of course, they took a few photos with fans, and this is actually their second location here in Atlanta. The first one is in Battery Park, and when I tell you their burgers are fantastic, you gotta try this out. The second location officially opens to the public on February 4th. And time for you to catch a casting. Yeah, casting directors for Wife Swap are back in the A. They're looking for extremely opinionated families with big personalities to appear in the upcoming season of Wife Swap. Yeah, the Paramount Network wants families that are amazing, unique, uncommon, one of a kind. Their words, not mine. They want you to have your own way of doing things or enjoy a weird hobby. Maybe you're fanatics about something or have interesting rules for your household, or maybe you're just plain crazy. Families that appear on the show get $10,000, and filming begins in April of this year. All details are at 11alive.com/theAscene. And as always, folks, if you see any celebrities in town, use the hashtag #TheAscene and head to our Instagram, send us a DM, and let us know about it.
All right, thanks, Fran. I'm heading out to get ready for Up Late, coming up in about 34 minutes on 11 Alive. So join myself and Ron Jones if you are going to be hanging out up late.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Aisha. Here's what's coming up. The question is about coronavirus. Could it be on your packages that are delivered from China? That is the claim online will verify, coming up next.
Source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'ma do. No, my movement ain't fading. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta, from movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A-Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Okay,
right.
about that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
a little water in my
yes.
cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots. And of course, I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11 Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The Outkast mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these two hip-hop legends.
More than 200 American evacuees from Wuhan, China are back in the United States tonight. Each was screened for the deadly strain of coronavirus that has spread to several countries. All passed their screenings, but will stay at a military base in California for 3 days. Other countries have planned similar evacuations as China tries to deal with it. So far, we know this, 130 people have died in China. We've seen 5 confirmed cases in the United States, none in Georgia. And today, the World Health Organization praised China for its effort to fight the spread of the disease. The group will meet again tomorrow to decide if this outbreak qualifies as a global emergency. There's so many rumors about the coronavirus and how it spreads, and we're going to verify the biggest ones. First, this tweet sparked a scare alleging that coronavirus can be carried on packages being delivered from China. We went to the expert, the CDC, in a news conference. The director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases talked about this very idea. She said, quote, because of poor survivability, these coronaviruses on surfaces, there is likely very little risk of spread from products or packaging that are shipped over a period of days or weeks. So the idea that the coronavirus can be spread through packages shipped from China, that's false. That's according to the CDC. Next, are masks effective in staving off the coronavirus? We see many people in Asia and airports wearing them. Again, we relied on the CDC to answer this one, the special respirator mask that is worn by healthcare workers called N95 respirators. I know I can say that word. Block out 95% of airborne particles, including coronavirus. Those masks you can get in the store, they won't block out 95%, but they are effective in blocking the virus. The CDC says it's all about the fit. So are they effective in the spread of coronavirus? That is verified. Do you have something you want us to verify? You can send us your ideas on Facebook, Twitter, or send an email to verify@11alive.com. We know there are a lot of questions about the coronavirus on the 11 Alive Facebook page, and we've got as many answers as we can find, so we'll post everything we know from the CDC on the 11alive.com site along with the 11 Alive news app. Pups with a Purpose, a program that brings shelter dogs into the Forsyth County Jail. Organizers say the puppies have done more than they ever could have imagined. My news reporter Brittany Klein-Peter has more for us.
Jail has kind of given us the opportunity to, give them a new life, and it's given me, follow instructions, structure in my life. This guy is Romeo. He's a good guy. We've done a lot of training together.
I had no idea, honestly, what I was getting into when I was asked to do it. But the biggest change has probably been in the guys. It's giving them something to look forward to, to do every day.
Our goal is just to get the dogs adopted out, but not just adopted out, but to give them thorough obedience training so the next family has it very easy and they don't want to give the dog back.
A lot of times we see the dogs come into the shelter very unruly, not trained, lived outside most of their lives, and then they come here, they get trained, and by the time they get adopted, they're like perfect little gentlemen or little ladies.
We want the inmates to be able to get a new set of life skills. The purpose is for the dogs to give them a greater purpose, and for the inmates to give them a greater purpose in hopes that they won't come back in here.
Forsyth County officials say that what makes their program unique is that they also train therapy animals, and they also provide post-training for the dogs once they are adopted. To learn more about this program, you can head to My Coming News, the section on 11alive.com. Public safety workers in Cobb County are going to get a raise. The Cobb Board of Commissioners has okayed it. That includes law enforcement, fire, and other emergency services employees as well. It's going to cost $5.7 million to move the new step and grade plan. That will increase starting salaries for new hires by more than $4,000 to $46,000 a year. It will also provide incremental raises for most current workers. Better salaries is part of the county's plan to attract and keep employees. Last year, commissioners passed a 7% raise, better benefits, and higher bonuses for recruits. The city of South Fulton is investing $1 million into new life-saving gear for firefighters. The department will buy protective clothing like jackets, helmets, and gloves. It will replace the firefighters' breathing apparatus with models that include thermal imaging cameras and wireless location technology. For the next phase of President Trump's impeachment trial, senators now get the chance to question White House lawyers and House managers over the next 2 days. But we still don't have an answer as to whether witnesses will be brought in to testify. That includes former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Claims from his new book are a main topic of conversation. Here is NBC's Jennifer Johnson.
Please join me in reciting the pledge.
Today, the next step in President Trump's impeachment trial. Senators questioning White House lawyers and House managers.
Is there any way for the Senate to render a fully informed verdict in this case without hearing the testimony of Bolton, Mulvaney, and the other key eyewitnesses?
The short answer to that question is no.
Then the president would have to have his opportunity to call his witnesses. And there'd be depositions, and this would drag on for months.
Democrats want to hear from former National Security Advisor John Bolton, even though President Trump has already threatened to invoke executive privilege. The New York Times reports sources say Bolton claims in an unpublished book manuscript that President Trump told him he was withholding military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigating the Bidens. The National Security Council today warned Bolton not to publish the book, claiming it contains classified information. In a tweet, President Trump asks, why didn't John Bolton complain about this nonsense a long time ago? The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is calling Bolton a backstabber. Meanwhile, an indicted Giuliani associate made a surprise appearance at the Capitol, saying he, Bolton, and even the president should testify.
Truth is, the president knew everything that was going on.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has tried to avoid witnesses, but some in his party want to call Hunter Biden. One red state Democrat going against his party, saying Hunter Biden might be a relevant witness.
I think so. I really do. Hunter Biden is irrelevant and a distraction.
Today, questions and answers, but the big question on calling witnesses still far from settled.
While senators tackle the question and answer period of President Trump's impeachment trial, it was business as usual for the man at the center of the debate. President Trump signed the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement on the South Lawn of the White House. The trade deal essentially replaces NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. Among the changes, it opens Canadian dairy markets to U.S. producers.
This is a colossal victory for our farmers, ranchers, energy workers, factory workers, and American workers in all 50 states.
That is President Trump, and a new poll showing presidential candidate Joe Biden slightly ahead of other Democrats heading into the Iowa caucuses, but the Monmouth University poll shows it's still a very tight race among the top 5 Democratic candidates. Only 47% of voters say they are firmly decided on their vote. More than half say they are open to changing their minds. Dylan Roof has appealed his convictions and death sentence after killing 9 African-American members in a church 5 years ago. Roof says he was mentally ill when he represented himself at his trial. His lawyers have asked the Court of Appeals in Richmond to look at issues that allegedly, quote, tainted his sentence. Their chief argument is that the judge should not have let Roof represent himself because he was disconnected from reality. Roof was the first person sentenced to death for a federal hate crime. They testified against him in court. Now a retired Navy SEAL who says he was wrongfully accused of murder is calling out his former SEAL team members.
And we're tracking just a few light showers that are moving away from the area. The next step is get rid of the clouds. Stay with us. We'll let you know if that will happen long enough to give us a dry day.
The Super Bowl week has been somewhat quiet, somewhat overshadowed, I think, by the death of Kobe Bryant. And today, Roger Goodell spoke about the state of the NFL. Coming up after the break, we will hear from the commissioner. He talks about collective bargaining agreements.
In 5 minutes or less, quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Block on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots. And of course, I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11 Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The Outcast mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these 2 hip-hop legends. News of the mural went viral when Big Boy himself gave a shout out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little Five Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibes. Vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hence. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
They're
And
a
they're
lot of fun.
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting.
Yeah.
We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape.
A retired Navy SEAL whose war crimes trial made international news now attacking former SEALs who testified against him with a massive grudge after he was acquitted on most of the charges. Here's NBC's Gabe Gutierrez.
The truth has never been fully exposed about what really happened. You may think you know, but you have no idea.
Retired Navy SEAL Edward Gallagher now lashing out against his former SEAL teammates who testified against him at his court-martial, accusing him of murder and shooting civilians.
Even though I went to trial, exposed all the lies that were said about me by certain cowards in my platoon, and found not guilty, there are those to this day who refuse to accept that fact.
Gallagher's video posted on Facebook and Instagram highlighting names, photos, and for those still on active duty, their duty status and current units. It also appears to show footage from Naval Criminal Investigative Service interviews with the SEALs, men talking about the incidents in 2017 involving Gallagher. NBC News is concealing the identities of the men in Gallagher's video.
For those who have and continue to slander my name, the truth is coming.
Gallagher was at the center of a high-profile war crimes case stemming from a 2017 tour of duty in Iraq. Last July, he was acquitted of shooting Iraqi civilians and killing a captive enemy fighter with a knife. The jury convicted him of posing in photos with a dead ISIS soldier and recommended a reduction in rank. The case and its fallout receiving extensive media coverage. Back in November, President Trump restored Gallagher's rank. Some former Navy SEALs say Gallagher sharing the details of the men in the video placed those men and the Navy's mission in jeopardy. A spokeswoman for Naval Special Warfare Command saying that the Navy, as a practice, does not identify active duty SEALs. We don't identify them by name or by any other manner due to the nature of their work for the protection of their teammates and their families, and to protect ongoing and future missions.
All right, here's the story. Burglary and criminal trespass charges, not usually the type of action that you see at UGA Sanford Stadium, but 4 students from another school have been arrested and charged with vandalizing the field and stealing from the stadium It happened in November, days before the Bulldogs' last home game of the season. You got to think, a lot of drinking for these kids. Here goes. Here's Jennifer Bellamy's story.
The Georgia Bulldogs are biting back after a group of students allegedly sneaked into Sanford Stadium, damaged the field with salt, and stole items from inside. UGA's athletic department confirmed the salting of the field, with police saying it happened in November, the Wednesday before the team's final home game of 2019 against Texas A&M, and just months after the field was named to honor legendary UGA coach Vince Dooley. According to an athletic department spokesman, there were some students from another school who sprinkled some salt in one spot on the field. It was fairly quickly removed, and we actually had a game, but the spot was not noticeable. That spot was 6 by 15 feet, according to a report from the University of Georgia Police. The athletic department's director of building services contacted University Police, saying 4 people entered Sanford Stadium without permission and intentionally damaged the field. That area of the turf had to be removed and replaced to fix the damage. Police say the group also stole 3 red UGA seatbacks from the stadium, valued at $8 each, from the south 100 level of the stadium. The seatbacks have since been recovered. And on January 15th, the judge issued arrest warrants for Buren Liu, Catherine Tyrone, Grace Johnson, and Taylor Anderson, with charges of felony burglary and felony criminal damage.
This is a story today that didn't get much attention around Atlanta, and I think it really illustrates how the city has changed and continues to change. You can talk about Sam Massell, and a lot of people, they don't know who he is at this point. Well, those of us who've lived here for a long time know who he is. This is Sam Massell. Before he was the mayor of Atlanta, this would have been 1968. He became and won the mayor job in 1969. He served from 1970 to 74. But today, at the age of 92, Sam Massell announced his retirement from the Buckhead Coalition. What an engine they have been, that coalition of businessmen speaking up for Buckhead wherever there were issues relating to growth or Buckhead's future or past or present. Sam Massell was there. He went to Druid Hills High School, went to the University of Georgia, and then eventually graduated from Emory. An Atlanta native, true and true, a public servant of the highest order, 92 now, leaving his post that he has had for so many years. It will not be the same without hearing from Sam Massell, but he's in good health, continues to move along, and we wish him only the best.
The 11 Alive storm trackers have been watching just a few of those small areas of light rain and just a few raindrops, and that's continuing to shrink up a little bit as it moves over to the east. We're not really seeing anything here in Atlanta or in the metro area. The light showers that we've been watching have mainly been north and east of the city, up 85. We had some of those up north of 985 and parts of Hall County, east of Lake Lanier. Some of that in parts of Banks County as well. This is getting a little closer to I-85 between Homer and the Commerce area, where we're seeing just a little bit of those. Again, not a lot. Right on 441, just a few sprinkles there, and it's falling apart as it moves over to the east. Earlier, we were watching a few other showers along I-20 out toward Lake Oconee. That's all falling apart now. We're not seeing any more of that, really. Just a little bit of green showing up over when you get over to parts of Hancock County. But really dry weather conditions everywhere else. We still have some clouds around, but those clouds will start to break up too. And there you can see what we were watching earlier. See how that's all falling apart as it drifts to the east. Here's what we had, a little bit of that down around Putnam County. That's all falling apart too. But now the next step is to watch the clouds break up. That process is happening back into Alabama, also here in West Georgia. You see that right there, some of the holes developing in the clouds. That's coming into Atlanta as well. So while you're sleeping tonight, those clouds will be breaking up, and we'll wake up in the morning to some sunshine and some cooler air in place as well. Take a look at what we've been watching out there for today. When you look at the temperatures for the last 20 hours, see how this morning we had kind of some ups and downs in those temperatures. In the 40s, our low was in the lower 40s to start earlier today. We were in the 40s for much of the day until we popped up into the 50s for the afternoon hours. Our high was 52. That was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then this evening, temperatures haven't been falling that much due to that cloud cover that's been out there. It's been holding in some of the warmth, but when those clouds break up tonight, we're going to start to see those temperatures falling a little bit more. They're already doing that in LaGrange, where we've started to clear out over to the west. In Carrollton, it's a little cooler at 40 degrees, but those clouds are starting to break up. We're 48 here. We have more of those 40s here in the metro area. Pretty uniform temperatures all around. Of course, a little cooler up in the mountains in Blairsville and in Clayton. Tomorrow, we start off at 40 here in town. Outside the city, we may have some 30s around, all depending on how fast that cloud cover breaks up. Then 55 for a high temperature. We're going to go with the 9 on the wazometer. That's our scale from 1 to 11, where 11 is a perfect day. Looking pretty good tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Not concerned about rain. There will be a couple of clouds that'll build in at times, but a good day with temperatures really close to average. We should be at 54 for this time of year. We're going to be up to 55. 50 Friday with some showers redeveloping later in the day. A couple lingering into Saturday. Dry Sunday and Monday. Another chance for showers Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, it's Super Bowl weekend. It's been somewhat quiet. It'll begin to heat up tomorrow, I would venture to guess. But this being Wednesday during Super Bowl week always means that we hear the state of the state from the commissioner. And the NFL's current collective bargaining agreement between the league and its Players Association is set to expire at the end of the 2020 season. Negotiations are underway for a new contract, and we'll see what kind of changes are coming. Maybe a 17-game schedule. Here's Commissioner Goodell on how those negotiations have been going so far.
I think we've addressed difficult issues that face our league going forward and looking forward. And I think both the players and management and everyone in the negotiation have worked to try to find creative solutions to make the NFL better. And that's what you want.
Another NFL note, didn't get a lot of attention today either. Chris Tolman died. He's only 58, had brain cancer. He had been struggling for the last couple of years. He played for the Vikings, tremendous player for the Vikings. Didn't really work out here in Atlanta for an assortment of reasons, including injuries. And then he finished up his career, also played for the San Francisco 49ers. But Dolman lived in Alpharetta for a very long time. I played golf with him quite a bit. And one of the most amazing athletes I have ever seen in my life. Enormous, so gifted, hand-eye coordination. He could hit the golf ball. He would take lessons with Butch Harmon in Las Vegas. He'd come back to Atlanta. He was just unbelievable, crushing a golf ball. But a nice guy. He will be missed, and certainly losing his life way too young. Chris Tolman dead at 58. I want to pass along condolences to his wife, to his children. All right, this week, Look Live podcast, we caught up with former Georgia State Panther Chandon Sullivan, who just finished up his second season in the NFL, starting to make a name for himself as a very versatile defensive back. Alex Glaze talked with Sullivan about life in the NFL, the upcoming Super Bowl, and what it was like going against Aaron Rodgers every day in practice this year as a member of the Packers.
What's going up against a legend like Aaron Rodgers? Like every day in practice, you're going up against what some would say is probably the best quarterback to play the game.
At first, it was a little, I was probably starstruck, I guess you could say, because that was my first time seeing him in person and seeing how he carries himself as a leader on and off the field. It took a little time to get used to, but then I found confidence in if I can perform well in practice against him, any other quarterback in the league shouldn't be a problem for me.
All right, looks like an interesting interview. I want to check it out. I hope you will too. That's it for sports. We take a break. We'll close it out after this.
Food. They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on The Morning Rush on 11 Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11 Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11 Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy and Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food. And of course, you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers. I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11 Alive.
The 11 Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11 Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume what the doing was great.
Thanks for watching. Good night, everyone.
Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system? Now is the perfect time with ARS Rescue Rooter. For a limited time, ARS is giving away a heating system with the purchase of select air conditioning systems. ARS Rescue Rooter, heating, cooling, and plumbing. Visit arsgeorgia.com.
When I got the news that I had a tumor in my bladder, I honestly didn't know where to turn. My case was complicated, but at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, everything is under one roof, and they make a cohesive plan for you. CTCA was here for me so that I can be here to live my life, to be here for my daughters, my husband. CTCA offered me my life back.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America, here for Georgia. Appointments available now.
Tanya's mother told her she'd find the perfect bedroom at Badcock Home Furniture and More. And she was right. Again.
You have the freedom to choose at Badcock Home Furniture and More. Choose from this sectional or bedroom set, just $9.98 each. This sectional or bedroom set, just $12.98 each. And save 40% on all signature mattress sets with no credit refused. Only at Badcock Home Furniture and More.
Is credit card debt keeping you up at night? Are you struggling to make monthly payments and getting nowhere? If you owe $10,000 or more, here's good news. Freedom Debt Relief is ready to help you to get out of debt so you can get on with your life.
Being almost out of debt feels fantastic. I feel like it's like a new life. It's like a clean slate.
Over 500,000 Americans have chosen Freedom Debt Relief to consolidate their debt, reduce what they owe, and eliminate debt faster.
Find out how quickly you could be debt-free. Call 1-855-964-1531.
The best thing about this program is that it would have taken me 15 years to get out of debt. With Freedom, it's only going to take me 3.
Don't spend one more sleepless night worrying about debt. Give Freedom Debt Relief a call and end your debt stress now.
Call 1-855-964-1531 to start eliminating your debt now. That's 1-855-964-1531.
You try hard. You eat right, mostly. You make time when you can. But sometimes life gets in the way, and that stubborn fat just won't go away. Cool Sculpting takes you further. A non-surgical treatment that targets, freezes, and eliminates treated fat cells for good. Discuss Cool Sculpting with your doctor. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Don't imagine results. See them. Cool Sculpting. Take yourself further. Go to CoolSculpting.com for a chance to win $25,000.
Leaky faucets, clogged drains? Schedule an appointment with ARS Rescue Rooter today. We'll even take $50 off. ARS Rescue Rooter, making it work, making it right. Visit arsgeorgia.com. Call